I hope all is well. I hope you're having a good day, and I most certainly hope you're having a great week on purpose. Hey, listen, we are bandwagon buffs around here. That is correct. We're BWBs. All right. Don't let nobody shame you out there. All right. We have made it socially okay for you to be a bandwagon buff, especially if you just became a Colorado fan because of Coach Prime, or you came here for the hype. Whatever the reason is that you came, don't let nobody shame you online. I don't care whatever social media platform that you use. Don't let nobody shame you. Here at TLP Sports Club, we have a large community where we have accepted the fact that we are bandwagon buffs. It's all good. All right. So you come over here, you're in good companies, you're in good hands. Not with Allstate, but with TLP Sports Club. Make sure to cop your BWB gear on this channel, on this here YouTube channel. I don't know where you're watching it, whether you're watching it on YouTube or on a different platform, whether you're watching it on X. Make sure to go to the TLP Sports Club YouTube channel. You can cop your BWB gear because you don't care. That's right. Guys, listen, welcome to TLP Sports Club. You are now watching TLP Live. I am your host, Harry Billion. This here show is Free for All Friday. And basically, what we're going to be doing on today's show, we're going to be talking about the Kansas Jayhawks and the Colorado Buffaloes. Basically, we're going over their schedule. So what happens is we actually we're looking into Colorado's road to the Big 12 championship. Coach Palm and his staff, we are trying to get into the playoffs. All right. In order for us to get to the playoffs, we got to go through the Big 12, which is our conference. To get to that Big 12 championship is not going to be easy. We've already covered several schools. Today is going to be the Kansas Jayhawks. And if we get to it, maybe Oklahoma State. All right. I believe it's Oklahoma State's going to be the next one. But that is the agenda on today's show. Before we get to the agenda, however, there's been some news out there for Colorado. We've had a great weekend last weekend, I believe. Now, right? We had a great weekend, and we had Juju Lewis come over. We had Chauncey. There was a couple of, I believe his name is Chauncey Gooden. There was a couple of guys that came over on during the weekend to on their official visits, and we've had a couple of guys that signed already. So we're gonna give you that news before we get into today's I guess kind of a discussion on how we get to that Big 12 championship. All right, so make sure you get involved. You can either get involved in the chat, or you can actually come on the show and you can voice you can give us your opinion, your thoughts on what we're discussing. It's Free for All Friday, so we're going to try to stick on the topic, but if anything comes up and we feel some kind of way about something somebody's saying, then we all go in on that topic. That's what I like about Free for All Fridays, because sometimes, I mean, we do have a topic, but we tend to go off and we have a discussion. As long as it's football, it's all good. All right. How do you join the show? Right there on your screen, at the top of your screen. Which camera is always weird. Let me just put this hand up. Boom, right here. Let me just make sure I always use my right hand on my left hand. If you look right here, the email says jointlpsports@gmail.com. I'm sorry, I always mess this up. It says jointlplive@gmail.com. The email is right there. All I have to do is read it, but you know, it happens. jointlplive@gmail.com is the email that you call in. You email me, I send you a link. You click on that link, you come onto the show. I will see you in the green room. It's right here. You come on, we have a discussion, and we talk about the situation at hand. All right. So go ahead and write down that email, because there's a couple of things I'm going to be sharing on the screen with the different things that we're going to be discussing. So write down the email, because I'm going to have to take that off the screen later on. So write it down. That again is jointlplive@gmail.com. Even if you don't call into this show today, maybe a subsequent show, either Monday Night Football. That's another show that we have. You may want to call in on Monday night, or maybe on a different Friday, you may want to call in. So make sure to write that email down, jointlplive@gmail.com. When the conversation gets juicy, people always like to call in. All right, so we're about to get into the show. Let's go ahead and get into the show right now, guys. I want to say hello to my guys that are in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button so that we can get everybody I guess up to date, so that we can get people watching, because some people may not know that we are live yet. Hey, Tennis, what's going on with you? Tim Smith, what's up with you? Excuse me. Feel so real. What's up with you? Hope all is well. Edwin Smith, what up with you? Aloha, how you doing today? Who else is here? Dupree Hundo, what's up with you? Dupree's starting off the conversation saying it's 7 wins successful season to me. It is. All right, so yeah, it's 7 wins from 4 from 4 in 2023. 7 wins is a successful season, that is for sure. It is going to put Coach Prime into the win column. So yeah, that will be a successful season, but that will be underwhelming for the larger discussion at hand. So a 7-win season where it may fend off a few people, a few of the butters, right? We may keep the butters at bay. And if you don't know who the butters are, those are the, I love Prime, but there's always that but. Those are who we call around here the butters. And then you have your double D's, your Dion detractors. Let me just give you all of the acronyms, then we can continue the show. We have the butters, which are our, they're fans, but there's always that but they have but. It's always but. All right. And then we have the double D's, which are the Dion detractors. Then you have your triple D's, which are your delusional Dion detractors. All right. And I mean, I feel like I need to come up with a third one, with a fourth. That's 3, right? That's with a fourth one for people like Jason Whitlocks, because it's beyond delusional at this point. I don't know what to even call it. Like you're literally living your life like detracting from this guy, like you're stalking him. I don't know. I got to come up with some type of catchphrase for people like that are like Jason Whitlock. I can't. They are beyond delusional, and I don't know exactly how to even like take that anymore. But let's go ahead and get the news out, and then we can go ahead and continue the show. For a lot of people who you probably didn't know who came here to who traveled on the weekend, let me just give you a little update, and then we can continue. We can get into the show. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to put this on the screen so that we can give you, we can make sure that you have the information. So basically Coach Prime and his team are working hard to make sure that when 2025 comes along, we have everything ready to go. We have linemen. Coach Prime is really digging into the Coach Prime is digging into 2025, the roster right now. We are making a strong push right now for the 2025 roster. Excuse me, I misspoke. For the 2025 roster. And this time around, Coach Prime is not he's not doing it from the outside in. Coach Prime is doing it from the inside out, which is really the way that you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to be able to recruit. You're supposed to recruit your line, your trenches, and then the skill position players. Because I think all the high school students, most high school students want to be wide receivers, running back, quarterback. Those sexy positions. So when you recruit, so when you get a lot of the skill positions are they come a dime a dozen. You can get them easy. You feel me? It's the trenches. Those big boys, those fat boys that eat like 10 burgers and they're still hungry. Those guys are a little bit harder to find, the good ones, because it's hard, because most people don't want to play that position. And to maintain that weight also is something. If you don't remember, we just recruited. We just got to commit. We just got to commit from Gooden. And he's like 300. He's like 6'4", 330 pounds. Imagine that being your child. 6'4", 330 pounds, eating up everything in the refrigerator. Okay, you got to get a second job just to make sure you get that kid out of high school. All right, that's a big boy. But let me bring on my guy DC Carson. can help me out with this. DC, what up with you, man? Thank you for calling. I appreciate you.
Nothing much, bro. How's everything with you?
All is well, man. Look, I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing good. I'm ready for this show. I'm pumped up. I'm just ready to dig into Kansas. You feel me? How's your week been going?
Man, I was out here trying to pressure wash this driveway, trying to get before the heat hits. That's the thing about Bama, man. In the summertime, you got to get up and get stuff done early before it gets too hot.
How hot does it get over there?
Woo! Humidity be like 102, 105. So you just got to get it. Yeah, you got to get up and get at it early.
What is your closest proximity to like the hottest states? Are your Midwest? Where is Alabama?
Southeast. Right here, it's like right. Like I'll tell you, I've been to Arizona in the middle of the summer where you had to go like it was 107 degrees at 7 o'clock at night. But the heat in Arizona is totally different than the heat in the South because of the humidity. Like Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, all that good stuff. South Carolina, it just gets brutal. It gets brutal.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, so let me see if I can get this up on the screen. Let's go ahead and cover some. Let's go ahead and cover this current news, and then we'll dig into Kansas. Colorado getting to that Big 12 championship. It ain't easy. I want people to understand. So we already covered Gooden. If you don't remember Gooden visited with Juju, and I believe Jay Gardenhire. So am I pronouncing that right? Gardenhire Crooks. That's interesting. That's a pretty interesting name right there. So this is our current commit. He committed on June 26th, just a few days ago. His name is Jay. Jay is 6'8", 330 pounds. That's a big boy. My goodness. So if y'all remember, what was his name? We had another 6'8", 310 pound guy. This is an offensive tackle. And according to 247 Sports, his ranking is 83. He's a 3-star. He's a 3-star. Rivals had him at a 5.5, also at a 3-star. So it's looking like if we can get one of these other ones, it's looking like a consensus 3-star. But the fact that Coach Prime is actually going after these big boys, this is a good sign right here. These are the other teams I believe that were in his scope: Marshall, Boston College, Florida Atlantic, Pittsburgh. That would be Pat Narduzzi's school. We got a couple of Pittsburgh guys on our team now. And then, of course, he committed to Colorado. That is the current information. So we got 2025 commits right now on. DC, was the first commit, was he also offensive line or was that defensive line? I forgot.
He was offensive line. Matter of fact, he was a 4-star. And I'm going to tell you, this impresses me. Now, I know folks that think I'm a hater or more butter, but I'm going to tell you, going into the high school ranks and picking up big linemen like the guy Seaton, because think about it, you are building something that you need. Like a lot of folks say, well, you got great individuals, but great individuals don't always make great teams. And by him doing this with freshmen, that's a big up for Dion. That's a big up for Colorado.
So you got Jordan Seaton, you got Gooden who just committed. He's 6'4", 330 also. Now you got Jay. You got Jay Crooks, who is 6'8", 330 pounds. Coach Prime got bad intentions. let's bring on Phil So Real. Hey Phil, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for calling in.
All's well. Hope everybody's doing good.
Hey man, what is Coach Prime thinking? Like, is he trying to make up for the statement that he made on that show? I forgot whose show he made it on, talking about he recruits from the outside in. Is he trying to make up for that?
I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be the first thing I said. I think it was the Rich Eisen show, by the way.
That's right, Rich Eisen.
But like to me, that's not a winning strategy when it comes to recruiting. Because if you look at the teams that have been champions, they always are able to dominate on the offensive line. Like even with a team like LSU that had Joe Burrow and Jefferson and all the other receivers out there, if you
Yeah.
look at the offensive line won the Joe Moore Award, which means they were the best offensive line in college football. So I think now that he has a either a renewed focus or a new focus on the offensive line and defensive line, like you said, he can get the skill player. So I think this is a great sign for Colorado, and especially to be able to get a guy out of high school and to get him in the program for a couple of years. That's a good look for me, in my opinion, at least.
Yo, but okay, this is me and my insecurities talking right here. But some people have said as far as like um, Coach Prime recruiting is at the end of the day, right? You got Coach Prime saying, "Hey, man, I'm not recruiting high school, right?" And everybody wants to kind of harp on the idea of Coach Prime not recruiting high school. Can we clear that? Can we clear this up a little bit? Because I want people to DC. I want you to speak on this. I don't know what your thoughts are as far as how we understood Coach Prime saying he's not recruiting high school, but it's like I think when he made that statement, right, wasn't Coach Prime really just saying, "Hey, I know what I'm trying to focus on to get the top recruits from high school. I need to put up W's, and to put up W's, you got to get some veterans on this team." Am I not hearing that the right way, or did I not hear that the right way? Because I think like everybody's still thinking Coach Prime doesn't recruit high school.
See, I don't think that's what he said, or definitely I don't think that was the spirit of what he said, that he doesn't recruit high school. What I
Right.
think the biggest contention was doing home visits for high school. And I can understand that. The thing has got to be is that if you're going to go that strategy, you have got to, when they come to on-campus visits and stuff like that, you have to close those deals. So I don't think he's saying I'm not going, because obviously he is recruiting high school and he can get high school. He got Travis Hunter high school. He got Jordan Seaton high school. So I mean that kind of the people, the haters we'll call them, or the people that are not paying attention, they may be saying that, but it's obvious he is recruited. Each year he gets a home run hit out of the high school ranks. So I think that that's a myth to say that Dion is not going after high school kids.
But it's just kind of weird, and I don't know why people keep saying it. Phil, and let me get your thoughts on this before we go to the next thing.
Sure.
Like what when you heard that, was that kind of like an indictment to say I'm not doing this high school thing, and now because everything Coach Prime says is scrutinized to a certain extent?
So I look at it like this: if you people are gonna want to hear what they want to hear, regard depending on how they feel about Dion. But like if you really just sit back and listen to what he said from a football perspective, I think it was obvious he was saying that right now my focus is to try to get guys that can come in and win, guys that have already have experience on a college level. He's never said that he didn't want to go after high school guys. He's just saying these are the cards that I was dealt, and this is what I'm going to do with it. But I do think as he stays at CU, you'll start seeing him focus a little bit more on those high school guys. So when I heard it, I didn't take it like he wasn't going to recruit high school guys. I just thought it was, hey, we need guys that can come in and kind of contribute early. And most of those guys that can do that are the guys that are in the transfer portal.
All right, cool. So I mean, I'm glad we can clear that up a little bit because people keep harping on that, and that's kind of like it's annoying to keep hearing. But no matter how many times you say it, some people just gonna say and believe whatever they're gonna believe. Flock, what's up? It's been a minute. How you doing, brother? KMS, what's up with you? How you doing? Hope all is well. Let's bring on Willie from the Tennis Channel. Willie, what's up with you, man? How you doing today? Thanks for calling in.
Hey guys, I'm doing good. Good to hear from everybody. Glad I'm not the only one that's on here today. Good to see you guys, man.
It's all good. Your audio's coming in pretty clear, so that means you're getting hip to this, which is pretty good. I'm glad to hear that you're not sounding like you're in the back room talking to the front. You feel me?
Thanks, Harry.
It's all good. Hey guys, write down that email if you want to call into the show. It's jointrplive@gmail.com. I know some people try to call in sometimes and they use the old email that we used to have. Excuse me. So please write it down, jointlplive@gmail.com. That is the email. I have to take that off my face because Nobody else is showing their face. I don't want this to be a no picture show. So let me take that off my face. All right. So so that is the information. Is there any other news that we should go over before that I've missed? Anything else? Because I know there were some rumors that Juju is going to be making his decision real soon. I think Mike, I can't tell if Mike is a hater or not, but Mike, he said Juju's friend or best friend signed with USC. I don't know if that was some type of implication that Juju was telling his boys to sign with USC because he's going to sign with them. Has anybody heard anything out there through the grapevine? Anything through the grapevine before we move on?
I haven't heard anything on that front. I will say I haven't heard anything as far as when he's going to make it official. But I have seen some rumblings that Auburn is trying to make a hard push for Juju. I don't think he will go to Auburn. However, I think they do have some really good. They have like a trio of true freshmen. Say that 10 times fast. That are supposed to be really, really good. They're turning heads already in the spring, so that could entice him to want to go there. But I think if you have to pick between Auburn or going to play for Lincoln Riley, I'm gonna stick with Lincoln Riley. You're not gonna win a championship with Lincoln Riley, but he can get you a Heisman, and he can probably get you drafted number 1 in the NFL draft because we've seen him do that multiple times.
How long has Lincoln Riley been at USC?
I don't have the exact amount of time, but I would say about 3 or wait a minute, 2 years because
okay, so 2 years. He's like
his freshman year, and then so 2 years.
He's like Dan. They've been winning somehow.
Say that one more time.
So he's like Dan Lanning, right? Because Dan Lanning at Oregon, he just got there. So because the reason why I'm saying this is because when you guys make this statement, right? When you say you're not going to win a championship. It's like they don't want to win the championship. It's not like they don't want to win the championship, but it's like don't USC have the recruiting capability, and don't Oregon have the recruiting capability? Also, Utah. I always bring this back, but I'm like, why is it that these guys can't win championships, and it always boils back down to like, I guess where they're at.
No,
why can they not win?
I want to be clear. I think Lincoln Riley can't win or won't win a championship because he doesn't have a focus on defense. And we saw that come back and bite him in the behind the past 2 years he was at USC. I personally think that Dan Lanning, the lineage, the coaching tree that he comes from, he got everything he need in him to be a championship coach. I think he has a lot of resources at Oregon. He's in the Big 12, so he don't have to win the conference every year to go to the playoffs. And once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen, especially with a roster that we're going to see year over year at Oregon.
All right, so before we move on to cover the Kansas Jayhawks, let me get everybody's on the panel, and if you can also, hey Stacy, shout out to Stacy, Stacy Ephraim. What up with you? Shout out to you, one of our members. So let me get everybody's opinion. Who's going to be the surprise? Now let me set it up this way. You got what's his name? You got the 12-team championships coming up this year. This is the first year of the 12-team championship. So now you're going to get teams. We got to play 4 games. All right, we got to play 4 games, and sometimes your best teams, they can have an off game. So the beauty of what's about to happen is that you may get one of these legacy teams. I always like to pick on you legacy guys, right? You may get one of these legacy teams to slip up and have a bad day, and they can be kicked out just like that. So based on that, who do you think is going to be the surprise team? And feel free to say Colorado, okay? Don't be shy. It's okay. Feel free to say Colorado, but who do you think is going to be the Cinderella or the darling of this new era that may slip one in and surprise some people?
I think Colorado's going to be that team.
Well, of course, tennis. I mean, what would you say? What else would you say?
I could make a wild guess like everybody else and just shoot from the top of my head, but I'm gonna stick with a commodity that's being proven every minute and every second of the day.
I'm looking at Ohio State, but let's go ahead and let me hear from the other guys.
I just want to correct you really quick. If CU were to go to the playoffs, You know what? I'll do you this favor. When CU goes to the playoffs this year, they will
Uh-oh.
be a.
I like that.
I'm not saying because that's how I feel, but I'm rocking with you, Harry. So
Okay.
listen, when they go to the playoffs this year, that means they won the conference championship. They only have to win 3 games. They
Right.
got the quarterfinal, semifinal, and final. So their road to the championship will be one less game than others. So I'll put that out there. As far as my surprise team,
Uh-huh.
um, I'm gonna oddly enough, I'm gonna go with Clemson. And I know that may sound crazy because Clemson has been a team that's always kind of been at the top. They've
Yeah.
kind of had some down years recently, but for whatever reason, I think that they're gonna get their teeth kicked in to start the season against Georgia, and then they're gonna ride that bitter taste in their mouth and win the conference in the ACC and go to the championship, or make some noise in the playoffs. If you have to, if I have to pick somebody that nobody's talking about, that's
Uh-huh.
who I would pick.
Okay. So I like the fact that you said nobody's talking about. People are talking about Ohio State. So I'm gonna retract my statement of Ohio State. I'm gonna keep. I think Florida and I'm thinking Florida State. All
Wait,
right.
Florida and Florida State, or
No,
Florida
not the
State?
Gators, but
Okay,
the Seminoles. So
okay,
I'm
gotcha.
thinking Florida State, right? Because I think that they I don't know. Hold up. Did DJ go to Florida State or was it Florida? I'm confused a little bit.
Florida
Michael
State.
Lely. Okay, so they
DJ, you went to
corrected that
Florida State.
quarterback situation. So they corrected that quarterback situation. So I think Florida State may, because of how they did last year, I think this year they may be the surprise. I don't know. Is that a surprise? Because they were pretty good last year too. But I would say Florida State, and I like what Ohio State is doing, but I'll say Florida State is mine. DC, what is yours?
Okay, I'll give you from each conference. Big Ten, let's start with that. I think the dark horse is Penn State. Folks aren't talking about them, but they're always a solid team. And
Okay.
I think that's going to be evenly matched. ACC, I'm going to go with Miami. Cam Ward is a game. He's a baller. He's a game changer. I think they have enough pieces around them to win.
Right.
And I think they have the better QB play. SEC, believe it or not, I believe Missouri or Oklahoma, I'm tied between those two, that could sneak up on people. And then with Big 12, unfortunately, Willie, I can't help y'all on this one, but don't be surprised if I have a tie. I have a tie, believe it or not, for UCF or Iowa State.
Oh, you would do that.
Word?
You would go there.
But now
Really,
keep
I
in mind,
do.
the question was
Really?
surprise teams. So yeah, I mean, those would be some surprise teams.
So
Real surprise.
So okay, so you think UCF is gonna get into that big play, or is gonna surprise people and get into the playoffs?
Harry, good God, I've been studying these teams, and I would say Colorado does have some good pieces. They've got some good, player average rankings and stuff like that. I looked at it, but UCF and Iowa State,
Uh-huh.
man, I'm telling you, because Iowa State has a QB folks ain't talking about.
So
That's
there about to be a problem.
They could be. I mean, he was great last year, Rocco Beck. I mean, and then they've got some good receivers in. So I'm just saying, folks, gotta be careful. And I know, with CU being very Big 12, but don't forget the teams that are not on your schedule because you might have to face them.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
X-Men says we don't stream every Friday and every Monday. Come on, X-Men, where you been, bro? We stream every Friday and every Monday. All right, X-Men. It's Fridays at noon. All right, and then it's Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I don't know. I've been doing it for months now. So
I'm not sure about that statement.
Yeah, X-Men, I can't help you with that, brother.
Obviously he wasn't here Monday because he missed me. I was the only one on the panel, X-Man.
Yeah, me and Willie sweated it out. Me and Willie was sweating bullets on Monday night. But yeah, we stream
M60 bullets.
We stream every Friday at 12 noon. All right, it's called Free for All Fridays, and then we do Monday Night Football 7 p.m. Eastern. These are the streaming times. And then if anything big happens, then I'll do a pop up.
Harry, this is something I want to share with fans. All right. I know the tendency is to look at what Colorado has on their schedule, but when I mention teams, You got to go look at their schedule. For example, when you look at Missouri, I can say that because Missouri's first couple of games, they're playing Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt. Then they come to Texas A&M, then the UMass, then the Auburn. You see what I mean, Phil? They got a path where it's not very. Now they do play Bama, they do play Oklahoma, but after Bama is the only one. I mean, because they're Auburn, then Bama, then Oklahoma. So Bama, Oklahoma back to back, then South Carolina, and then Mississippi State and Arkansas. So they really could run through that. You don't see the Georgia on there. You don't see some of these other teams. That's why I'm saying that. So I encourage folks, take a look at those. Take a look at the schedules and see what they say. And so here's the thing. Guess what? Hold on. Just check this out. Y'all forget, Missouri beat Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl last year.
Well, we're from the South. We're supposed to win the Cotton Bowl. Come on now.
I'm a son of the South, so
hey, hold on. Georgia's in the South, okay? I can't expect. We're from the South. We're supposed to know. Listen, Georgia is too big, okay? So I can't with y'all. We in the South stuff. Y'all got hip hop, and y'all got Georgia. So I can't give you nothing. So y'all don't skate off. All right, so. Let's see. Stacy says Big 10, Oregon, ACC is FCS, Florida State, SEC, Texas, Big 12. Wait, SEC is Texas. Okay, that's the surprise one. Big 12 is Colorado. Okay, all right, Stacy. I see where you're going with that.
I like those picks, but I don't think it would be considered a surprise for any of those teams outside.
Wait, you don't
Colorado.
think that SEC Texas would be a surprise?
No.
As far as the projections, quote unquote, they're depending on which ones you look at, they're either 2 or 3. So that's why I'm saying if you're simply saying surprise, I don't think anybody would be surprised if Texas won the SEC. But like if you're just saying those are your picks out of each conference, then I'm all for that. But if the argument is a surprise, I don't think it would be a surprise.
Well, hold on, wasn't Texas in the Big 12 or
Yeah, they were in the Big 12 last year. Yeah,
they were in the Big 12 last year, and now they're going over to the SEC. And you're saying currently they're being projected as the number 2 team in the SEC?
Yeah. They're like in the top 5, top 4 for odds to win a national championship. So that kind of says it right there.
Oh wow, okay, that's what's up. So, all right. So wait, KMS says Vanderbilt.
Do not pay attention to that troll, please. We're not talking about mathletes. We ain't talking about mathletes or the chess club. We're talking about football.
I'm like, wait, yo, KMS like Rick George, so he's trying to give Rick George to watch the show. I think that's what KMS is trying to do. Because Rick George is a Vanderbilt alum, so I don't know how Vanderbilt is coming into this conversation. But if anything can happen, right, Phil? You said that last time. You said anything is possible because Deion Sanders could have told his team not to go to. I mean, not if they can get left. They can leave the team if they don't go to Shador's concert. You said anything was possible.
Yeah, it's possible. And the probability of it is 0.00 infinity zeros 1.
It can't be infinity zeros and then a 1. That doesn't make sense. So stop playing.
We'll have that conversation offline. I was listening to DeGrasse Tyson, and he said there are different forms of infinity. I'm being so serious. He said there are different forms of infinity.
Wait, did you get this from Terrence Howard?
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, Neil. Hey, who you going for, Neil deGrasse or Terrence Howard? I got Terrence Howard.
So here's the thing. All jokes aside, if you have a patent, that means you've had to have proved something. So at the very least, the patent has to be valid. Now, Neil did come back and kind of debunk whatever paper Terrence wrote to him. So I'm going to have to side with Neil on this one.
No, I'm going with Terrence, and we can have that argument offline, okay? I'm going with Terrence Howard, boy. That dude was... Yeah, I know he don't believe in Jesus, and neither does Neil. None of these smart guys believe in Jesus. I don't get it, man. Like it's like you get your brain and then you're like, that Jesus thing ain't real. Anyway, let's move on. So for those of you who have not been paying attention, especially my X-Men from South Africa, all right, we've been going over the Big 12, Colorado's road to the Big 12. All right, so what we're doing is we're taking this CBS Sports ranking and we are going down this schedule from the Big 12 post power rankings. We did Utah already. We did Kansas State. And today we are dealing with Kansas, the Jayhawks. They are ranked number 3, or they're supposed to be the third team. And basically how people are looking at the Big 12 is so wide open. Some people are saying after the top 5, you can pretty much just take it, put them in a bag, shuffle them, and throw them up, and anybody can be next. All right. So this is how we're looking at it. But Kansas, they're saying legit is number 3. So the Jayhawks are the league's most ascending program after winning 9 games for the first time since 2007. And more success could be on the horizon. All eyes will be on quarterback Jalen Daniels, who missed all of Big 12 play with a back injury, but was named preseason Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year before he got hurt. Lance Leipold has done an impressive job building a solid roster around him, headlined by retaining running back Devin Neal and cornerback Kobe Bryant, both of whom have gone to be to the NFL. All the pieces are lining up for Kansas, including a schedule that dodges both Utah and Oklahoma State. All right, so we are looking at Kansas today. We're going to be going over their schedule, and I want to say shout out to my guy, my research guy. His name is Phil So Real. He is on the panel today. So, hey, man, Phil, I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, it's all love, man. I had the free time, so I was like, why not help out?
That's what's up. So I appreciate you for that. Let's go ahead and dig into their schedule. Let me put that on your screen, and you will see that in a second. Just give me a second. Let me put that on your screen there. Bada boom. Paste that. Press enter. And I think we are there. You guys should see it before I do. And there it goes. All right, so this is how we're gonna do it. You guys already know how we did it last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what the heck is the Lindenwood Lions? Like, what is this? Man, and they're playing at the Children's Mercy Park. Like, what? What are we doing here? Like, everybody's scheduling their first game to be like, "Hey, man, we don't want no problems. We just want to play football."
But no, the stadium they're playing at like 2 different stadiums this year because of they're doing renovations to theirs. They spend a lot of money on some new stuff they're doing with their stadium. So their game day environment next year is gonna be pretty cool. So that's why you're seeing that weird name for the
oh, that's why they're playing at the Children's Mercy Park.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how do we see? Go. Who was that? Was that you?
But it's DC. This DC. But see, like right off the bat, I'm sure y'all fans are out there looking and going, "This is why you pay attention to schedules."
Okay.
Instead of just saying X, Y, and Z. Because first they playing the Lindenwood Junior High Lions. Lindenwood, because ain't nobody even heard of it. Who the heck that is? That's gonna be a blowout from the get go. We already know that.
We don't even have to go over that one.
I don't even know where Lindenwood is. All I know is they're gonna be going home real soon. They might as well not even get off the bus.
They're out of St. Charles, Missouri.
There's a Linden Boulevard in Brooklyn, bro. That's all I know about Linden. What the heck is going on with this?
Not gonna be it ain't gonna be no Q-tip from Carl Quest on that one. That's gonna need some Band-Aids because that's Linden. Nah, man.
All right, so we're gonna give them this W on Thursday, August the 29th. So they're opening up their schedule with Lindenwood Lions. We this is a consensus, right? Now I don't have to ask y'all this question. Like, we're good. This is a W, right?
Yeah, we can keep that moving.
We can keep it moving. All right. If their schedule is weak, then we probably get the Oklahoma State. All right, so now I did. How do you guys call this again? Because you're gonna have to tell me. Is this Illini or how did y'all say this?
Illini.
Illini?
Yeah.
Yes,
Fighting
Fighting
Illini.
Illini.
I like.
Just let your tongue be lazy. Don't try to pronounce it.
Alana.
Yeah, Fighting Illini. Yeah, you want
Bro,
to
I
kind of have a
like
southern
Eleni,
drawl
man.
to it.
I like Eleni, bro. Like Eleni sounds more gangster, bro. I'm telling you, they need like somebody needs to write them and say, "Hey, listen, make this Eleni." Like Harry B with TLP Sports, they're gonna be really big in 2 years, And this said change it to Eleni now because he's good with like catchphrases. He's like Deion Sanders, but except he's on YouTube. Wait, Deion's on YouTube too. Never mind. Anyways, okay. So how are we seeing this game? Is this even a matchup at all?
No.
This is no matchup, right?
Yeah, they beat them by double digits last year. They beat them 31-23. I think it'll be somewhere the same.
All right. And UNLV, I know them for basketball. I don't know them for football. Are we even like spending any time on this?
Sometimes UNLV has been pretty decent.
When? What year, Willie?
Well, hold on. Let me think.
Yeah, you think hard. Like, what year has UNLV come across your palate for football? What year would that have been? I don't know.
I'm thinking.
So, all right. So DC and Phil, because you guys are legacy football guys. What has there been any time where UNLV was relevant football wise?
They've had a few years.
I won't say relevant. Yeah, they haven't been quote unquote relevant, but they have had winning seasons in their conference. Because they won 9 games last year. The last time they haven't won double digit games going all the way back to 99, so that kind of says it. But yeah.
They're competitive.
No, they suck. No, let's just keep it real. They suck. The last time they won double digit games was in 1984. They went 11-2.
All right. So we're starting off Kansas with 3-0. Kansas is going 3-0, and then we get to Saturday, September the 21st. They meet the Mountaineers, and the Mountaineers. I know the Mountaineers for football. I know them for Smash Mouth. They almost remind me of the old school Colorado. Am I off base with that?
You mean how they've been in the past, or how that team is
in the past? No, I'm talking about in the past. I remember them to be Smash Mouth football, West Virginia. When you meet West Virginia, you better be ready to hit. Like that's how I remember them.
To me, they were a little bit more flashy because they had Deshaun Jackson, Pat White. They had a lot of really good skill players in the early 2000s. So I don't remember them for being Smash Mouth. I remember them more so for kind of spreading the ball around. But I will give you credit. You're a little bit older than me, so you know what I'm saying? That might have been before they had the transition.
No. But when you say older, you got to take 1989. That's 1989 is when I was born in the U.S.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So my age starts at 1989 in the U.S. So
okay. So you're younger than me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm only 20-some years old. I'm not talking about real life. I'm talking about just when I started.
So was that the third time you was born again, or was this the second time?
I've been born again a lot of times. Okay.
Oh, born again. Oh, okay. I got it now.
We're talking about rebirth and stuff. Okay, I want to make sure.
Hey, I was born.
Hey, I had this T-shirt I used to wear when I was working. It was called "Born Again African."
Oh, word.
Oh yeah, word. Born again African, man.
But you can't wear that if you've never been there, though. That's kind of like defeats the purpose. Like you gotta have to at least visit Ghana or South Africa, which is kind of known as Florida, right? Like I'm sorry, X-Men, but you're gonna have to visit like somewhere that represents Africa. But hold on, guys. Let's not go too far into this personal conversation stuff. Are we giving West Virginia a W, or are we giving Kansas the W on this one?
I don't know.
That's a toss-up. That ain't an easy one there to pick.
If we were using gambling terms, that would be a push. I think this would be a.
All right, so this is September 21st. It's on a Saturday, and it's going to be in Morgantown. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be playing West Virginia at home, right? So if it's a toss-up, give me the data points on the toss-up. Why is this a toss-up? What are the strengths for West Virginia that we need to be aware of?
Running backs.
Yeah.
They have a good running back core. Their running back room is nice.
Yeah, and the quarterback.
Yes, and they have
quarterback's
Go
decent
ahead.
too. I'm sorry, quarterback's decent too.
Okay, Willie said the quarterback's decent.
Yeah, he worked out what you're doing this summer, so he's gonna be.
That was Virginia Tech, Willie, not West Virginia.
Was that Virginia Tech?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so running backs. What do we know about the running backs?
So I'll say this. The reason why I say it's a toss-up is because I think West Virginia is on an upward trajectory, and I think in my heart of hearts, I think Kansas will win. But I also see that West Virginia could use this as a game to kind of catapult their season. This would be one of those wins that kind of defines their season.
Okay.
I don't think West Virginia is going to be like 10-2 this year, but I think this could be one of those bricks that's being laid for their foundation for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's a toss up. Plus, it's at home, so like you gotta give them credit when it comes to high school. When it comes to college, being at home.
Yeah, because they have a pretty nice schedule. Their schedule's on the screen right now. They have a pretty nice schedule. They're playing some decent football. So their first game is against Penn State. Hey, DC, didn't you just say something about Penn State?
Yeah,
I did. Yes.
You said this is going to be your surprise team, right?
Yes, it will be my surprise team.
So did somebody butt fumble with scheduling Penn State with Morgan at Morgantown, their first game?
No, I mean, because that's a closer game. You know, they have their kind of, they're not really rivals, but kind of that regional thing. So that was kind of probably one of those things where they just decided to do. You know, it just makes sense to have a game, especially early in the year, that close.
From my understanding, there's a lot of people in Pennsylvania that have family in West Virginia and vice versa. So it's almost kind of like not necessarily a backyard rivalry type situation, but people from those two states interact with each other a lot. So I think that's kind of what you're looking at. But also, you're going to start seeing more games like this at the beginning of the season because they're going to the 12-team playoffs. So teams aren't going to be afraid to lose a game early in the season because they still have a chance of making it to the playoffs.
Okay. And for those of you who are not too good with geography, like New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, like you get on this road and you just drive straight. Like it's the longest drive ever. All right. It's the longest drive ever. You just keep driving. You're going to get to Ohio, West Virginia. Listen, boy.
Harry,
what interstate is that?
Not 80 something. Is it 80 something? I gotta ask my wife because she remembers everything.
Okay.
My brain is no good.
I'm gonna tell y'all, I drove from Alabama to Pennsylvania, and I went through. And folks, when I say it, you'll know I went through East Tennessee and into West Virginia to do that drive. And let me tell you something. There ain't nothing out there. And if your car goes down, it is, man, look, there are places on the Appalachian Trail in West Virginia where if you gone, you gone. They're not finding you. You will not believe how remote West Virginia is. Army even has mountain training in there. We're going to leave it at that. I'm just here to tell you, no West Virginia. Once you get out of Morgantown and some of those other places,
West Virginia is crazy because so now West Virginia and then I drove out. We went to West Virginia, so they had this big old lake and we was there. You can see the fish in the water. Then we drove. The friends that we went to go see, they was like, because I was like, I like Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? It was like, oh, Kentucky's right over there. I said, wait, what? Kentucky's right over there. We get on the road, and then it's like there's this narrow little bridge, right? And there's like mountains around it or whatever, and you got to drive over that little bridge. You make a left, and then Kentucky is right there. And I went over there. I was like, oh shoot! So we went on like the 3 different states. Right in the little corridor. It was. I like it, but yeah, there's nothing out there. I don't know why they live out there, but you know, they like to save money, and apparently you can get a house for like $43,000
That is
in West Virginia.
That's crazy.
You can get a house for like 50,000, 70,000, and it's like, what? How do you live
with no neighbors?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I ain't talking about no like connected houses. I'm talking about like single family like but I can't. There's no way we live out there. There's no way.
I had a dude that I knew that would go to the Appalachian to minister, and he flat out said, "Man, I love you, brother Carson, but I can't take you into some of these places. It just would not be good." We'll leave it at that.
Did he have the complexion?
The complexion for the protection.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He had it.
Okay. Yeah. He said, "Look, man, I'm going to have to go in here with Jesus, and you're going to have to stay outside."
Yep.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna give the win. We're gonna give the slight edge to Kansas on this one, because you guys don't seem to be too sure. It's a toss-up, so we'll say they are 4-0 going into TCU, and I'm gonna bet my horns. I'm gonna bet my lizard. Pause. All right.
I see what you're doing. You good. You good. Keep it up. I like.
I'm still good, right? I'm still good.
I like the pun. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Right. For those of you who know, I'm gonna bet my horns, right, that Kansas wins this one. Even though I'll give you this little caveat, I feel like they had an off season because of quarterback troubles they had. Right. I don't know that you go off of you go to the Natty, right? You lose that poorly, and then you come back and then you go 5-7 or whatever, and like you can't regroup. I think they just had quarterback issues. I think TU is probably going to be a bit better this year, but let me hear your thoughts.
Well, I think like in the NFL, the Super Bowl hangover is real. You know what I'm saying? When you have teams that lose the Super Bowl, they don't always bounce back as well. So I think that's kind of what you saw with TCU. Personally, I haven't been keeping up with them as much because I don't think they're going to have a successful season. So I'm gonna just go with Kansas just off of what I saw last year. So I'm going to be very upfront. This is an uninformed prediction, but I'm gonna go with Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, they are playing at Arrowhead Stadiums, but so I feel like TCU is they're going to get their mojo back, and they're going to bounce back. But before let me go back a little bit. Let's reverse a little bit. Stacy is saying that we should give West Virginia the W and make Kansas 3-1. Do y'all agree to that? Do y'all want to revert and change our mind on that and make them instead of 4-0 to 3-1?
Let's go with that. That's fine.
I personally disagree. I personally disagree, but if I'm outnumbered, I'm cool with that.
Okay, so let's put a vote to it. I'm giving it to Kansas. Willie, who you giving it to, Willie?
I'm gonna go with Stacy. I think that sounds, you're going
with West Virginia just for the sake of trying to have a deadlock. Come on, Willie. All right, Willie. Okay. No, DC, where you at? DC, you said let's go with that. So that means that it's a consensus. It's not a consensus, but the eyes have it. You guys have it, right?
Let's go with that. Yeah, let's go with West Virginia as a loss.
All right, Stacy, you got it. Stacy got it. So we got 3-1, not 4-0. We got them at 3-1. And but are we agreeing to they're going to beat TCU?
I'm gonna say
next two games are wins.
Yeah, next two games are wins. So I have them. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
they're 5-1 going to the bye. I think somebody said they were 5-1 earlier. I don't know if it was Stacy. Probably Stacy. Stacy's is involved. Is keeping track here. All right, so they're 5-1 going into the bye. I say they come off the bye and they're 6-1 because they meet Houston October 19th.
That's gonna be a win.
That's a win.
Yep, that's a win.
And they're playing them at home. Yeah, and they're playing them at home. They win this game. I mean, Houston. it ain't much about Houston. Like I don't even have to read. Go ahead.
Let's pause for a second. See, Harry, you've heard me say several times, whoever did Colorado's schedule didn't do them any favors.
Okay.
If Colorado had this schedule, there would be zero pushback for me on them winning the championship. None.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy schedule, bro. I'm like, okay, go ahead, push back. Which one of these teams you feel like Colorado would have had an issue with when you in your pushback? Don't just push back just because you want to push back, okay?
No, I'm gonna let you know what I'm pushing back on. I push back because we have to be honest, okay?
All right.
The out of conference schedules are usually put together years in advance. Like if this website you're on is called Future Schedules, and you can actually see going all the way to like 2035 what a team schedule is going to be like, right? So the out of conference schedule is planned out ahead of time. Then you also have to think about the fact that now the Big 12 with realignment, they put this schedule together, in a matter of maybe 3 or 4 months. So I don't know how much control Colorado really had over that schedule. So I'm gonna try to be as fair as I can and give Colorado the benefit of the doubt. But there's only so much you really can do when you have 16 teams in the conference. Somebody's gonna have a really easy schedule, somebody's gonna have a really hard schedule. But I will say next year.
But what are you pushing back on? Are you pushing because DC said if they had this schedule, he wasn't saying like somebody messed up on the schedule. He said if they had this schedule, he can easily see them in the playoffs.
Well, we haven't looked through the whole schedule, but I'm just saying like Colorado don't have control over making their schedule like that. So I just want to be fair to Colorado.
But where do you stand? I still want you to stand somewhere. Where do you stand?
Okay, so
DC just said.
As far as this schedule, they would go. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think right they would. I think they could lose to West Virginia, so that would be 3-1. They would beat TCU, Arizona State.
We'll beat them.
I think CU would beat them. I would give
Houston
them two. I would give them 2 losses going to Kansas State at this point.
That's all right, so that'll be. Wait, who's the other 2? Who's the other one? West
Kansas
Virginia
State would be a loss, and I would say West Virginia possibly.
But you said you would give them 2 losses going into Kansas State.
Oh, I'm sorry. After the Kansas State game, so Kansas State.
Okay.
West Virginia will be my 2 losses. My bad.
Yeah. So I would say this schedule. Yeah, I would say this schedule is very favorable for Kansas. This is looking really nice right here.
We gotta keep going down though. We gotta keep.
No, we going. I'm just saying. I mean, it's looking pretty nice. Like if you are a Kansas fan right now, you're looking at some of these games and you're like, "Whoa, this is." We're gonna be looking like we're already making a bowl.
I know that's what I'm saying, Harry. That's what I'm saying is that if there's anybody on this earth that was a CU prime hater, it was who made the schedule. They don't like you. I'm just telling you, because this was it should have been versus God. I'm serious. Could you? I mean, seriously, Willie. I ask you since I know that you over there are making some buffalo shaped cookies. I want to know.
Nice ones.
Yeah, straight up with icing, right? The thing is, we all got to be honest. See you with this schedule.
Yeah, it'll be nice, right?
It's not even a question. And I'm the butter, and I'm sitting up here saying, man, if you had this schedule, BYU, you would win that one. I mean, so continue. God, somebody screwed you.
Well, keep in mind that we've already been put through the gauntlet, right? In the Pac-12, we've been through the fire already. We've been fire baptized. Okay, I don't mean to make the spiritual reference, but we've been fire baptized already in the Pac-12. You know what I'm saying? With that crazy quarterback and those teams, so we've been through it. So it kind of like has us ready for this schedule that we have right here on your screen. You see what I'm saying? Like again. At some point, if it's not this year, at some point, we're going to have to face one of these teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, majority of these teams we're going to have to face anyway. So, I don't mind it this year. Let's go. Year 2 maybe is kind of crazy because we needed to really, like, make a statement year 2. But I'm not scared, man. Like, I don't know who
I'll tell you this, though. I'm gonna tell you this though, that next year's schedule, man, if y'all get a QB, you in it. You got if the next year's schedule is like this one, I
Yeah.
think it's probably easier. Next year's schedule is really easy, but I mean,
But I
you
don't.
have all
The key to next year is not a QB though. I'm gonna push back on that. The key to next year is not QB. I think the key to next year is mostly the O line and the defensive line. If we do that, then I would take Ryan Stubb for next year. I'm telling you.
You could. You're right. But
Yeah.
that schedule, because like, look at this. You have Colorado, then you get into Baylor, which should be an easy game, so you don't get beat up before the Big 12 championship. Whereas Colorado would have to go through Utah and Oklahoma State. I mean, you go through the gauntlet, the entire top of the Big 12, and then you got to go and limp into the Big 12 championship, and that is not going to be easy. Here,
so for those of you who are wondering, thank you, Phil, for sending this information. For those of you who are wondering what the schedule looks like, this is tentative, right? So we can't. Is this something that we can say we can hang our heads on? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So the first 3 games are your out of conference games. Those are already locked. Those already have been agreed on. Now the teams that you're playing are listed how they have it. We just don't know what day they're playing, but they know the home games. They know the away games for next year. We just don't know the order that the games are.
Okay. So, wow, if you look at this, we playing Delaware, Wyoming. Like, come on, bro.
So
Iowa,
Colorado's
Houston.
going to start the season 3-0. Colorado's going to start the season 3-0 in the out of conference with the out of conference schedule. So we're good on that. They just have to win 3 more games, and they're going to a bowl next year. Like that's right.
Like, so year 3. Hey man, DC, I'm starting to agree with you, man. Like somebody should have been more forthcoming or knowing that in Coach Prime year 2. Somebody should have been like, look, let's give them this schedule. Look at this.
But you still got Kansas State. You still got Utah. You got West Virginia that everybody's projecting to be better. You got Iowa State.
But don't forget, we're going to beat Utah. I told y'all our foot is on Utah's neck this year. I told y'all that already. I'm not scared.
I will concede that to you. My point is that at the very least, that is going to be a tough game. That is going to be one of the games that you guys actually could lose. There are a few other games where I'm like, if Colorado loses this game, then I don't know what happened. And that's not one of them. That's a game that I'd be like, all right, cool. Colorado lost, whatever. But if you come around and mess around with Wyoming,
Stacey trolling, Wyoming is not a joke. Why are you putting laughing emojis? Because I don't know whether to take you serious or not. Wyoming? I've never heard of Wyoming football. Like, what the
Josh
heck?
Allen is not there. Josh Allen is not there anymore, so they're not even relevant. So.
Right, but see, even with this schedule, because I could see 3 losses, even with this schedule, you still would make it in and possibly to the championship. You still could make it in to the championship game because I don't think West Virginia will be as good next year. I don't know if Brown keeps his job. I mean, I could see next year, and we don't know what Utah will be like next year because they don't have that senior team. Kansas State. Well, I'm gonna tell you, Kansas State's gonna probably be a beast next year. And I think Arizona will probably be your 2. But you literally, like when you hear folks say 10-2, that's the schedule you can get 10-2 out of all day long. I'm just
man. Like,
so let me ask you a question, guys. Let me ask you a question. We know what Coach Prime talks about. At what year do we dominate the Pac-12? Is it this year, next year?
The Big 12, you mean?
It ain't this year.
It won't be this year.
Hey, y'all be careful with that domination word.
I'm gonna use it, brother. I got it.
Now, I don't know about dominating, but I say we're the new sheriffs in the Big 12. I'm looking at Colorado. You know how they say UCF and we're Colorado and UCF are the dark horses, but we don't really know who's really like. Who's like a wet dead dog and is about to fight their way out of this thing. Like that's why I can't wait for the season to start. But I want to know and I want to see how teams play this year. But I feel like Colorado is in a really good position to really put our name on the map in the Big 12. But I don't see us staying in the Big 12. I'm telling you, I think we're aiming for the Big 10.
I wouldn't have an issue with that. But I think it would be fun to see what Dion can do coaching against those teams in the Big Ten. I just don't think right now he got I want to say dogs, but I'm not using it in the same phrase that y'all would use dogs. But like I don't think they got the horses to run that race. You know what I mean? But I
So,
did I
but
did want to make
you're only saying that for the trenches. Let's make sure we understand how you
no
because
even
we
I
can
would say even the
compete with
skill players.
anybody in the nation with our skill position. We can compete with a lot of people.
I think that it is very possible that if let's just say Colorado played a Big Ten schedule this year, I think there are a few guys on the outside that could get exposed by some of the guys that they be going against in the Big Ten. Respectfully.
Okay. I'll have to
Maybe,
concede to that just for the sake of moving on. I'll concede to that lightly right now. Right now, let's finish Kansas right quick. All right, so we got Kansas at what 6-1, right? We got Kansas at 6-1. They're gonna beat TCU.
Yes.
They're gonna
Yeah,
beat
we start
TCU.
that.
They're gonna beat Arizona State, and then they get the bye week, right? The bye week on October 12th, and then they're gonna beat Houston, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no. They were gonna lose to West Virginia, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so they're 6-1 according to TLP, right? In my panel.
hmm
Until we get to Kansas State, how they doing with Kansas State?
This could very well be a game one in a 2-game series this season.
You said game 1 in a 2-game series. What do you mean?
I think that it could be a rematch in the Big 12 championship game.
You're putting them in the Big 12 championship together?
I think it could be. Yeah. I
Don't
definitely think it
blaspheme on
could
this
be.
channel, brother. Because we talking about Colorado being there. So if you can't put them there and then take us out, like stop playing with me.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So if we in the multiverse,
Thanks for
you know what I'm
apologizing.
saying? If we're somewhere if we're somewhere that Thanos done already snapped, I think Kansas and Kansas State could play against each other twice next year. But in this, looking at it right now, I'm gonna give the nod to Kansas State on it.
So Kansas State gets this
same
one.
here.
All right.
Same here.
Okay. So Kansas State, Kansas. I don't want to go against the grain just for the sake of going against the grain. So I will say Kansas State on this one. So that's a unanimous yes. They're gonna take that L. So they're 6-2. And then they get another off. What is this? 2 offs? Is this a new thing? Am I missing something?
I don't think it's new. I think it's just the way that the season fell this year. Because normally it's just a one bye week a season.
Do we continue this whole bye week thing?
It's only 2 buys, so. Oh well, as far as next year, I don't know what the schedule's gonna look like next year. That's what I'm saying. We don't even have the dates yet, so we won't know about the buys until next year.
Does every team get 2 buys?
Yeah,
this
everybody
year?
has 2 buys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we get 2 buys. Okay, we can get healthy. All right, so they are 6-2 going into the second bye, and then they come back and they got Iowa State Cyclones. And do not sleep on Iowa State Cyclones because
Do not
sleep on the Iowa State Cyclones. Where are they?
Pass them up.
Maybe they're at the top. Yeah, they're at the top. They're further at the top.
I think they're number 7.
Right here, number 6. So the Iowa State Cyclones are ranked number 6 from CBS Sports. Iowa State sits at number 6, but the Cyclones might be the most underrated team in the country. Not just in the Big 12, but in the country. Many turn on ISU after a 1-2 start, but the Cyclones went on to go 6-3 in Big 12 play and contended for the conference crown deep into November. Now, Iowa State ranks number 2 nationally in returning production and is the only program ranked top 5 in both offensive and defensive returning production. Running back Abu Sima III might be the X factor after averaging 7.3 yards per carry as a freshman. If he can develop into a complete running back, Iowa State could easily find itself in the title game. So, how do we have this game going for Kansas State? Y'all don't get too quiet on me now. Come on now. This is for TV.
Hold on. We're thinking. That's
so. So here's what I'm
I
going to
need you to
say.
think out loud.
Here's what I'm going to say. Here's where I'm going to go into. I'm going to give Kansas that win. Here's why. Because Kansas has some defensive backs that are pretty good. I know we sit back and talk about Colorado, but like one of their defensive back, is it safety or Kobe Bryant is good. I also think if Jalen Daniels stays healthy this year, that's a phenomenal quarterback. They can beat Iowa State. So I'm going to go with Kansas for the win on this one.
All right, so you're giving it to
But
Kansas. What about
it's gonna be a dogfight, and because they're playing in Arrowhead, this is going to. I would say that favors Kansas, but it's going to be a dogfight.
And for those of you who don't know about Arrowhead Stadium, that's the Kansas City Chiefs stadium where Patrick Mahomes dominates. All right, so how do you have it, Phil?
So I want to take a look at Iowa State's schedule and see what they got going on before that. So a couple of games before they play against Kansas, they play UCF September 19th, then they have a bye week on October 19th is when they play UCF. Then they have a bye week on the 26th. Then November the 2nd, they have
play
a home
Texas
game.
Tech Red Raiders.
Right, that's a home game, but I still think that will be a tough game because Texas Tech is a team that, like I said, has an upward trajectory. They're one of those 3 or 4 teams in the Big 12 that I would lump Colorado in. They have an upward trajectory. They look like they're going to be good in the next 2 or 3 years. So that could be a tough game. So I'm interested in seeing what they will look like coming out of that little stretch. But I'm gonna give this game to Iowa State because they're good for a late season win that's unexpected. So I personally am gonna go with Iowa State just based off of their history of always finding a way to piss somebody off and mess up their season.
Okay. Willie, do you have any knowledge of Iowa State to chime in on this one? Or are you just gonna
the only knowledge that I have on basically of what you read, looking at the data said that they have a lot of returning players.
Oh yeah,
They had a 6-3 record, so they didn't have a losing season. That means they're capable of losing at least 3 games. I don't think that this would be one of them that they would lose. So I'm going to go with Iowa State on this one.
So you're going Iowa State based on the data.
Based on the data. Have no idea what they have coming in, what improvements they made. Matter of fact, the only strength they had was in the running back. Seems like he averaged 7.3 yards a game. So seemed like they had a pretty decent running game, but we have no idea what they have coming in. So I would give them the edge on that one. Maybe a touchdown or maybe 3 points or something like that.
This is the Iowa State schedule that's on the screen right now. How would just off the top? How would you say as far as strength of schedule? How would you say this Iowa State schedule look?
I mean, that somebody likes them and they hate that somebody likes them and hate CU. That's what I'm going to tell you.
You're not gonna leave this alone.
Haters.
Yo. Hey, I saw Wild Dog is Wild Dog still in the chat? Wild Dog, what's up with you, man? I'm sorry I didn't say I saw you earlier. What's up with you, Wild Dog? Couples brand. What's up with you, Couples brand? All right, so that's not a basket. So but college football is not necessarily going on strength of schedule anymore, right? Like are they still, even with the 12 team, does the 13 member board still have some type of voting to do?
Here's what I'm gonna say to you.
They're still gonna rank them, yeah. To answer your question, yes, they're still gonna rank them.
Here's what I'm gonna say. When y'all hear me talk about Colorado being in the Big 12 championship game with those other schedules, because if they win it, then they get an automatic bid if they win the Big 12 into the championship. But if they don't win the Big 12 championship with those schedules, they don't have strength of schedule. That's the plus, that's the downside about having a softer schedule is if you don't win your conference championship, it's hard to justify you in the game. So that's why you could say this year, even if Colorado doesn't, if they can get to 9-3, they can make it just on strength of schedule alone.
Hey, I was able to find
I
something
agree
really
with
quick.
Yeah.
It says that it says how the committees will rank the teams. It says the committee ranks teams based on the members' evaluations of teams' performances on the field using conference championship win, strength of schedule, head-to-head results, and comparison of results against common opponents to decide the teams that will make the playoffs and how they're comparable. So basically, there's like 5 different things they're looking at, and strength of schedule is one of them.
Okay. Let me, based on what you just read, it just put something in my head. You don't think that the committee can actually vote against a school that actually wins their conference, do you?
No, there are. If you win the conference, you're automatically in. So, for example, you're not gonna have a 6-6 team win their conference, but let's just say in a crazy scenario, the Big 12, it's like neck and neck, everybody's 7-4 or 8-2, whatever the case is, whatever the math is.
Right.
Regardless of whatever that record is, if they win the conference, they're going to make it and have an automatic bye. That's some of the pushback, especially the SEC and the Big Ten are having. So what they're saying is just telling me that an 8-4 team out of the Big 12 is going to be able to win their conference and get an automatic bye into the playoffs. And then I have a 9-3 team in the SEC that went through a tougher schedule that may not be able to make it because they're the number 15 or the number 14 in the SEC. That's where a lot of that pushback is coming from the commissioners of the Big Ten and the SEC.
So,
but I'm gonna say if Colorado goes 9-3, but does not go to the championship game, if depending on how they do, like if they do like margins of loss like they did last year, there is a strong case to put them in, and I think they get in because of their strength of schedule is so hard, but they got to look good doing it. Like that first game, NDSU, that's gonna be tell you what you got going on. If they come out and dominate, like Harry said, they're gonna come out and cook and win by 3 touchdowns. That keeps you in there.
Wait, did I say 3? Did I say 3 touchdowns?
I don't think you did, but I think you would say.
But you're gonna tie me to that. That's fine.
Right, no, right. But see, what I'm saying is that when you start looking at, they come out and they do blow out Finder. They do come out and it's closer to the line, which is an 8.5 in favor of Colorado, and you struggle with them, then I hate to say it.
But what if we struggle with them and then we do good like later on during the season though?
If you struggle with NDSU, do you think
it's
a wrap for us?
we got some issues. We got some issues that need to be
to answer your question, honestly though, if they stumble against NDSU and still win, but they go 9-3, I don't think that'll be held against them. I think the losses that they actually lost will be held against them, and I do think that you're gonna start seeing the committee talk about like a blind comparison where they put up each team's stats and FPI and power rankings and strength of schedule and all that kind of stuff. So they won't get accused of favoritism like they did last year when Alabama got in over Florida State. So I think you're going to go ahead.
Go ahead, Seville. No, keep on going, Phil.
Yeah. So I think you're going to start seeing more of those blind comparisons when they talk about it, so they don't feel like they're biased. But I just don't see a world where, let's say you got Georgia that wins the SEC championship. They beat Texas in the championship game. So Georgia and Texas are going to go. Then let's just say, for the sake of argument, you got an Ole Miss that is 9-3, and then you got another team in the SEC that's a 9-3. Do you think that, let's say, okay, for the sake of argument, let's say it's Alabama. I don't want to use Alabama because I'm a fan, whatever. But let's just say you got Colorado versus Alabama to get that last spot. That's going to be a tough decision because the money is going to be behind Colorado because you're going to have all the views. But as far as play on the field and the tougher path to get to that 9-3, you would have to give the nod to Alabama because they're going to have the tougher strength of schedule. And the wins they have will be, quote unquote, more impressive than the wins that Colorado will have.
So let me ask you this then, Phil. If Miami and FSU are in the ACC championship game, and that Miami wins, and there's still a competitive FSU, but there's also a Clemson with the record 9-3, but Colorado has a 9-3. I think they're gonna make up from last year of not including FSU. It's the only reason I'm saying what I'm saying is that Colorado has that, but this could get really confusing. That's why that first game with NDSU has to be a solid thing. I don't think they have to dominate them like people. But listen, folks, you're in year 2. You probably shouldn't be using the D word. You should be using the let's just be competitive and win versus I'm trying to dominate. But
no, you're not going to tell us what I'm saying. You ain't going to tell us what word we can use. We can use any word we want to use.
I said you probably shouldn't. I didn't tell you not to. I'm just saying. But
we don't need no cautions. We're gonna.
Right. But watch this. Let me ask this question, and then we move on. Which conference is? That's a good one. Which conference is better? Because we talk about the Big 10 and SEC, but between the ACC and Big 12, which one is better?
Wait. Are we doing it based on legacy terms? What are the criteria? What's the terms?
No, well, I'm looking at what you think that the team have these year. Of course, there's always this idea of legacy. I think there's idea of fan base, that kind of thing. Would you say that the ACC is? Would you say the ACC which is better, the ACC or the Big 12?
I need some terms. I need some parameters.
You know what? I'll go with the ACC. I'll give you that.
No, Willie, you can't just be throwing stuff out there. You need parameters.
No, but check me out.
Go ahead, Phil, and then I gotta I'm gonna have to hold tennis to the water on something. Go ahead, Phil.
So the way I would look at that and answer the question is I'm not gonna say I wouldn't look at what happened last year, but I would look at the conference rankings that you have that you're pulling up for the Big 12 right now. I would just stack it. I would say the Big 12 versus the ACC, 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, and just see how it goes from there. That's how I would try to look at it and break it down and just look at what each team has in this year, what they brought in, what's left, all that kind of stuff. That's how I would look at it to determine it. I don't think you can necessarily always look at it as a whole. But I personally would say the ACC. But I also think the ACC is a lot more top heavy. I think the teams in the middle for the Big 12 may be a little.
They're about to make me Google that on the ACC. Come on, man.
Let me just say that. Go ahead and say this. All right, in the top 25, you got from the ACC. There's Miami Hurricanes at 24. There's but you have Virginia Tech at 21. You've got Clemson at 16. You've got NC State at 13, and you've got Seminoles at 11. And then you don't see another ACC team. Whereas with the Big 12, you have Utah at 9. Are you talking about the top 25 rankings? Right, preseason. Utah at 9.
Which ranking are you looking at?
Well, I looked at what they're ranking them in the top 25. So
are you looking at AP or Joe Clack? Because who are you looking at?
ESPN.
Oh, ESPN's rankings. Do it off of Joe Clack. Joe Clack is a friendly, so let's use Joe Clack's.
Nah, man, listen. With them CU knee pads.
Come on, man! Do not disrespect Joe Clatt, okay? You see you knee pads.
Let's go.
And see you underwear, okay? It's not knee pads. See you underwear.
No, trust me. For some of these fans, it's knee pads. I'm just gonna say, all right, preseason. Okay. All right. Harry be sitting up there. Harry, why it sound like you like shows like this, where you just digging all into the data and the meat and all of that good stuff?
No, I'm telling you, man. Listen, no, I gotta concede that. You know what I'm saying? I was chasing views before, but I'm loving the conversation now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's just me, but I like these shows.
Making me dig.
That's what I'm saying. I like these shows where I mean, the shows where it gets real messy and we get a bunch of people watching, and those shows are cool, but these conversations these are the ones that people are going to revisit, and that's why I like these shows. I like these ones because you can at any point in time in the season, people are going to watch these shows and they're going to come back and they're going to see these conversations, and these are the ones that's going to really last for a little bit longer. So I like these ones.
Right, and just side note, Phil.
Talk to me.
Yeah, we forgetting to add Notre Dame into this mix. Willie,
Okay.
we forgetting to add that into a
Joe
mix.
Clare has him at number 11. Has them
Right,
at number 11.
But remember, they cannot get a bye though. They cannot get a bye because they're not going to be a conference champion. So again, that's a great point. That's a great point. I think college football has done more harm by making it a 12-team playoff and doing those automatic bids, because now there's going to be a team that is good enough to be a top 12 team and should be a top 12 team that won't get into the playoffs, because you also have a group of 5 that's going to take up one of those spots. So you got 4 automatic bids for your conference champions. Then you got your group of 5, your highest ranked group of 5 champion. Those are 5 slots that are taken up right there. And frankly, the group of 5 person, that's a wasted slot. They need their own playoffs. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah.
Yeah, and getting to Harry's case, Harry said about what is the better conference, ACC or Big 12. Well,
no, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. Somebody else did that.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
That was
but
BC.
I would say the ACC based on a couple of things.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Willie got doubted. Let's go, Willie. Bring it home, Willie.
Listen, they had 41 players selected in the 24 draft, NFL draft. Okay, they had 11 players selected on day 2 of the 24 NFL draft. So they're putting a lot. It says 4 ACC players chosen in the first round of the 24 NFL draft. That's just on that note. So they are at this point. At this point, they're putting in more players.
Was that me or y'all?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? You hearing things now?
Hello?
You hearing things?
I can hear you, Harry. We can hear you. Tennis, I can hear you.
Harry's hearing things. He's got hard of hearing now. See?
If the chat can hear, somebody type a 1 in the chat, please, to help us out. Yeah, if the chat can hear everybody, type a 1. Stacy, if you're there, Wild Dog, if you're there.
Is that me?
Okay.
Check this out real quick. I want to say this is that the Joe Clatt has 5.
Oh, I muted myself.
It's the dead heat. He got 5 ACC teams and 5 5 Big 12 teams. So it's a tie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Y'all know I muted myself for a second there. I wasn't hearing anything y'all were saying.
We can hear you, but
we can hear you good, man.
I was like, what happened? Was that? I'm sitting over here like, all right, so this is who's ranking this one, Phil? Oh, this is CBS. This is the same thing for this is the same ranking for what's the name, right? Let's Let me take this off the screen. Give me a second, guys. Let me take this off the screen. Let me go back to my present.
Can I point something out real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Just having these discussions going back and forth over who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. While I do hate the 12-team playoff, I do think that this will add a new level of excitement to the college football season, especially when it comes towards to the end of the season. I think it will minimize some of those games because you can lose it and still make the playoffs. But having this conversation gets me more and more excited for the season, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So you like these conversations too, right? It's not just me.
Yeah, because it's really like a dog. So what if Colorado made it and they had to play against Ole Miss? What would that look like? Or what if Notre Dame had to play against Georgia? Or what if Oregon had to play against Georgia? I think that would be a really fun matchup to see. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of wild stuff that could be going on come December this year.
I think college football is about to be a little bit more exciting. It's exciting now, but I think it's about to get a little bit more exciting because now it's opening up the floodgates because now you get to see new dynasties form, right? It's an opportunity for new dynasties to start forming. You know what I'm saying? And it's about to get fun because the schools that you probably would have never seen before, they have a little bit of chance to be seen now.
Right. Well, Harry, I will tell you this: you want to go down a rabbit hole and feel, and tennis gonna get right off the bat. The G5 has an automatic qualifier. That's going to be a freaking nightmare to decide who that one is. Because think about the number.
It's easy. It's the highest ranked. It's the highest ranked conference champion. It's the highest.
How do you decide that?
How do you decide the highest ranked conference champions in the G5?
It's pretty simple. Like Liberty last year, they were ranked like 12 or whatever it was, and they won their conference championship, so they would have gone in. It's that simple. Now, if the question is how do you determine how good a group of 5 is versus another group of 5, I don't know.
There you go.
As far as just doing their regular rankings, all right, cool. This group of 5 team, they even though they're number 18, they won their conference. They in. That's why I don't like the group of 5 getting an automatic bid.
Hey, yo, this is random, but who's grilling this weekend?
I'm not grilling this weekend. My homeboy coming into town from Germany, so we're gonna go back and drink some beers and kick it.
Is he white or is he black?
He's black. He's from here. He just works over there. He's been over there for like 12 years now.
DC, are you grilling?
Yeah.
What are you grilling? What are you grilling this weekend?
I'm throwing some baby backs, and every time I grill, I always gonna do burgers and hot dogs and Connecticut sausage. If you've never probably heard of that, but that's some of the best sausage in the world. It's made in Alabama, and then I'll do some baby back ribs and probably a couple of chicken halves and put it on. I'm gonna do it.
Stacey says she's sleeping. What the heck? Willie, are you grilling?
No, sir. If I'm not coaching tennis this weekend, I am going to Kentucky Fried Chicken weekend for me.
Okay.
Hey, that's gonna be it. Now I may throw a little barbecue sauce on that or something like that. You know.
Really, Harry? So basically, Harry, you go with you basically gonna do the stereotype. You riding around with some chicken and Hennessy. Really?
And some watermelon in the trunk.
I don't know. I might grill. I don't know what we're doing. I'm telling you, I can't remember anything. My wife will make the schedule, and then I'll be like, okay. Then she'll tell me, no, why are you doing that? Because we're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. Maybe we're going somewhere. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening, but we'll figure it out. But anyways, I just threw that in as a little caveat. All right. So who are we looking at? We were looking at Iowa State. Let's finish the schedule.
Kansas. Yeah.
Kansas. Let's go back to Kansas. Yeah. All right, so we saying that they're gonna Iowa State's gonna win this game. So now they're 6-2, right?
I think we got 3. We got 3. Well, I say Kansas State is gonna beat them. So did you agree that Kansas State is a loss for Kansas?
Oh yeah, I think we went back for Stacy, right? Stacy Ephraim.
Yeah, so we did. I think y'all agreed on West Virginia. So that's 1.
Yes.
And then
Stacy was West Virginia, right? So that's West Virginia was Stacy. Then Kansas State. Yes, we said Kansas State was going to beat them, and then Iowa State's going to beat them. Also, is that right? Yeah. So now they're 6-3.
Yeah.
All right. So they're 6-3, and then it goes 7-3 with BYU. What do you think?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they go 8-3 with Colorado. Stop playing. Nope. Pause here. What do you think about Colorado versus Kansas?
It's gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be a fun game, man.
It's gonna be.
The fun game stuff is nice, but who's winning?
I'm gonna go Kansas with the dub for now. But that's subject
Kansas.
to change.
You are a hater. All right, DC. How do you have it? Don't be a hater, DC.
Oh no, I got Colorado winning like 77-4, man. Come
Stop
on,
playing
what
with
are you
me.
talking
Stop
about?
Stop trolling.
No. Hey, look,
be nice.
I'm trolling. I'm basically saying they got the backup in, and the only reason that Kansas gets 4 because they get 2 safeties on like the 4th string quarterback. That's why. I,
that's terrible. Man.
I would sit here and say that no, Buffaloes, no, that's going to be a win for Kansas.
Oh, we taking the L. Oh, all right, Willie, you go first. I already know what it is, Willie, but you go first.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Let me tell you why. Because of
why they gonna win, right?
Yeah, because of the desire to win, the desire to compete. This team has it. They're gonna give Kansas the best game they ever had in K, and CU is gonna come out on top. We're talking about a really, really good game. Watch what I'm telling you. Make sure we mark this down.
All right, the panel is split. The panel is split. That I said we're gonna beat Kansas.
Hey, Harry, can I make a point real quick?
Yes.
Tennis made me think about something. You know, he said that they're gonna give Kansas a run for the money and everything. I do want to point out that I think just like last year, every game that CU plays is going to be that team's Super Bowl. So every week, Colorado is going to have to get up for that game. Now that's going to be a lot harder when you have to do that every week, opposed to when your opponent is only going to have to get up for that game once.
That's a good point.
I think it's going to be crucial for the Colorado coaching staff and the trainers and everything to find a way to keep that intensity, to keep that sense of urgency, but to also give those guys like, hey, we're gonna go a little easy on them on practice today, get them physically, mentally ready, because they're going to war every single week, because every week is the Super Bowl, and that is not easy to deal with. That's why I got to give respect to your Georgias during their dynasty, Bama during their dynasty, USC during their dynasty. You always have to get up for every single game, and that's not easy to do.
So here's the thing you got to take a look at. Don't just, folks, when you look at these teams, I know we like to go, okay, well, Shedeur is better than this person, and we can go Travis. Can't nobody, can't nobody score on Travis, which we have seen that is not true. Okay. And I know folks say, well, he was just coming back. You shouldn't be out for game shape in just 2-3 weeks, folks. And at the end of the day is, I don't care when you can catch a ball off of somebody's head, it doesn't matter. You're not going to stop that guy. So what y'all got to start also looking at the difference between playing zone and playing man-to-man. And then you have to look at the mobility of the quarterback. So you're playing a mobile quarterback in this game. So you have to have discipline in it, which means if you have to do it, they could probably run on you a little more.
Yo, let's get a tie break in the chat, from the chat, because the panel is split, right? So we got me and Willie got us winning, and Phil and DC got us losing that game, the Kansas. So let's get a tie break from the chat. All right, chat is on you. You guys get the tie break. Whoever wants to participate. Kansas versus Colorado. Who wins that game? I know a lot of people are at work, but if you can, KMS says Kansas W. All right, so we got Kansas W. Let's see if we can. Troy BLY says W, but W who though? All right, Noah Stevens says, hey, can somebody keep stats on this? Noah Stevens says Colorado. Wild Dog says Kansas W. Wild Dog's a hater.
All barking, no bite. All barking, no bite.
All biting, no bite. All barking, no bite. Hey, Wild Dog's a hater. Wow, the day we call Wild Dog a hater. That's a day, right? Couples Brand says Colorado. Oh man.
Hey, listen. If you're a Colorado fan, please stop hanging your hat on the fact that Colorado has good rankings on the football game, man. That's not real world.
Yeah, please. I'm not using that one. Not on this show. Come on, guys. I saw that, but I was like, man, this is nothing. All right, so Troy says Colorado the W. So
Colorado is the favorite right now.
Colorado's the favorite. Can we get a few more? What's it called?
Emojis, responses, votes.
Hey, Waldo said he's been hating since 1989. Waldo's been hating since 1989. Since I came to this country, he's been hating Colorado. Stop being a hater, Waldo. Come on, man. So should we give it to Colorado?
I think so, baby.
Based off of the consensus, yeah, it's Colorado.
Based on who? Okay, it's not a good sample size. Let me just, just for sake of data, it's not a really big sample size. All right, so we will say we'll give it to Colorado on a slight, on a slight bias. All right, so we'll give it to Colorado. So that's four losses for the Kansas Jayhawks. And then on Saturday, November 30th, they're rounding out their season with Baylor. Oh, these guys are so smart. These guys are the smartest schedulers ever, yo. They said the last game of the season, we're gonna send our folks home with a hooray. They go to McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas, and they get that W. What do y'all say? So there are 7-4. According to our TLP Sports Club panel and people in the chat. Well, I don't know about people in the chat. Would they give them a vote? But so are we saying that Kansas is going to be 7-4 this season?
At least
that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there anything we're taking back? We went through the whole schedule. They came out swinging. We was like, oh my God, this is an easy schedule. So why is this an easy schedule? Hey, DC, I'm coming back. I'm coming back to you. Hey, Phil, look at Phil. Look at Phil doing the Lord's work over here. Gifting a TLP Sports Club membership. Look at Phil's doing the Lord's work. He's a backslider doing the Lord's work. Like, come on.
And I didn't realize it was going to go to this person, but whoever Scoop Brooklyn is, I was being shady, making a comment about the rankings on College Football 25, and look at God, it randomly gave them a membership. So that's to you, Scoop. I don't know if you're male or female, but it's all love to you, my brother, my sister. I hope you have a wonderful Friday.
So Scoop is a new member. Let's all give Scoop a hand clap and then salute to Phil So Real. Appreciate you. But this is what I want to say because this is where DC came off, was like, if Colorado had this schedule, he can easily see us in the playoff. And if we put the data on the table and we're saying, wait, based upon this ranking, there's no reason why Kansas, who's ranked currently preseason by CBS Sports, number 3, there's no reason why they go 7-4 on TLP Sports Club's ranking system or preseason predictions, right? right. How can Colorado take their schedule and win the conference, but Kansas cannot take their schedule and win more than 8 games? Can we make that make sense, guys?
I mean, you got to remember though, the conference is a conference right now that there's no clear cut, like, you know what I'm saying, we the big stick on the yard outside of maybe Utah. I think Utah is the consensus number 1 team in the conference, right?
So that's a good point.
I think honestly, if everything holds true, I think everybody else is playing for second place to see who they're going to play against. To see who's going to play against Utah in the conference championship. I think that's kind of what it's going to look like in the conference this year, just from kind of the back and forth that we've had.
All right, so you're saying 7-4 is valid. It's a valid place for them, even because this right here is not really a good snapshot, right?
Shouldn't it be 8-4 if it's 12 games? It should be 8-4, not 7-4.
It should be 8-4, but I got to be honest with you.
Is it 8-4?
Yeah, it's 12 games they play, so it should be
8-4.
What about the bowl game?
They go 8-4.
They'll probably get a bowl game.
Right. But the regular season is only
season is 8-4 because Colorado. I have Colorado going 8-4 for the season.
Right, but like for example, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, because I mean, truth be told, we were splitting hairs with West Virginia, Iowa State, and Kansas State. So you literally could wind up having an 11-1 or a absolutely 12-0. I mean, think about it. They don't even play Utah. They play Kansas State. They
Yep.
are
Or
Kansas.
Oklahoma State.
Right. So at the end of the day and again, I get the Colorado love. I'm not gonna hate on it, but I'm just sitting here saying that you Harry brought up a good point. We can't say they're up here, but then we're sitting up here saying they're gonna be for losses.
That's a good point. Hey, can I point out something real quick? I pulled it
Yeah.
up and I
Yeah. Go
think I
ahead.
might have lost it. But if you look at the Big 12 rankings last year, let me see. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Big 12 rankings. Texas was number 1, Oklahoma State was number 2, Oklahoma was number 3. Texas had 1 conference loss, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma had 2 conference losses. And then Iowa State, Kansas State, West Virginia had 3. So you can only afford to really lose 1 game in the conference. Just kind of, if we're assuming that things are going to be the same as last year, which I know they're not,
Uh-huh.
you can only afford to really lose 2 games to have a chance to even sniff making the Big 12 championship. And I don't even know how they're going to come. I don't know how they're going to do a tiebreaker either. Because let's say Colorado loses 2 games in conference, and then somebody else loses 2 games, but those 2 teams then play against each other to have a tiebreaker. I don't even know what that's going to look like. So that's going to be a whole nother can of worms to have to deal with. So that's something we may be
Well,
needing to research.
well, the reality is Colorado cannot lose to Kansas State, Kansas, and Utah. You cannot lose those games, and Oklahoma State, because more than likely those are going to be the ones that are up there and going to have the head to head on you. So you don't have a choice. It's almost to a point, if we keeping it real, it's almost to a point where they have to go 10-2. Because if they lose two out of those 4 that we just mentioned, then that's going to put them to a point where they don't have the head to head. You would have to believe that those other teams did not do as well, or they beat each other up. So what
Right.
you're really Colorado has to hope for it to be the way that you guys have it, even though I don't have them beating Kansas, but let's go with that. It has to be it where the other teams just beat the crap out of each other, and everybody is around 9-3, 8-4. Then that's when the conversation can begin.
That's possible. That's a possibility.
So the way I have it though, we're not in that conference championship. So at 8-4, we don't get in. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
So we don't, according to TLP Sports Club, we're not into that Big 12 conference championship. But I think 8-4 is a good statement for us to make for recruiting for 2024. Or 2025. So that's just how I have it. But what's the argument for us? Because obviously the show is about Colorado's path to that Big 12 championship. But go ahead, Phil.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So let's say they do go 8-4 next year. Do you realize how impressive that will be to take a team from 1-11 into 2 years, have them not only going to a bowl game, but to possibly be like a top 5 team in the conference, depending on how everything falls out? That is still very impressive, and that's something to be celebrated. So I just want to put that out there.
Hold on, say that again. Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed it.
So I'm saying to take a team take over a 1-11 team,
yeah,
and to move them to 8-4 in 2 years, that's very impressive. And that's usually the trajectory for teams that turn it around from that terrible of a team. So I don't want us to get caught up in the fact that if you do have Colorado predicted to go 10-2 or to go undefeated or whatever the case is, if they do fall short of that prediction that you have and they do win 8-4, it's still impressive.
But I'll add to what you're saying. I'll add to what you're saying, Phil. My argument has always been for a lot of the people who detract from Colorado, who have these high, lofty expectations by Colorado and just can't get off of Prom's, Prom's cashews.
Cowboy hat. Which is his cowboy hat.
They can't get off of Prom's cashews. I'll just give you the soft version, right? 4-8. Coming from 1-11 is also a really good, place for a new coach in the FBS, you know what I'm saying, to be at, because it's not an easy thing. And when you look at the elements that led up to that, being in one of the toughest quarterback, central conferences in that Big 12, in a Pac-12, it was not an easy thing to go through. So the polymath says proms almonds. Thank you. But if you look at the whole, if you just unpack everything, we're hard on prom. So I get it. I understand why some people just can't get off of it. But
hey,
4 and 8 is, I'm not finished. 4 and 8 is not a bad place to be. But then when you say, hey, yo, Harry, 8 and 4 is really good, but we got to start with the 4 and 8 and give that its due credit also, because it's also coming from 1 and 11 in the dirt, in the garbage. Nobody wants to mess with you from a recruit standpoint, and then you're able to get 4 and 5 stars to come in. We don't talk about that enough. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's also important to say.
I think what even be more impressive is, like, I'm going to agree with Stacy on it, because I said early in the year 10 and 2. 10 and 2 coming from that, using that same analogy you guys just used, 10 and 2 would be even more impressive. While 8 and 4 is okay, or 7 and 5, all right, it's okay. 10 and 2 would be highly impressive. Think about the recruits that would want to come and play for CU, being 10 and 2, and with an opportunity to go to the conference championship.
But can I say this? You got to understand, when you have to be able to look at what you're saying when you say stuff like that. I'm not saying Colorado is not, understand, I'm not saying Colorado is not capable of doing this at all. But when you start saying 10 and 2, you start saying this team is just as good as Texas and Oklahoma, because that's what they historically did in this conference. So if you're going to say that, then you have to be to a point where if I'm not pushing back, if that's what you believe, I would just ask the question, you telling me that this team, when you look at Texas,
how do you see it?
Right, when you look at Texas trenches, and you look at Oklahoma trenches, and you look at even Oklahoma State trenches and Kansas State, because they've all been in the Big 12 championship, are you saying I see this team just as good, not just from the starting 11 on offense and defense, but also the depth? Do I see Texas in Colorado?
Can I give DC some pushback?
Let me give the first pushback, and my pushback is a little soft. It's a little softer, right? So the thing is, like, we can talk about depth and all of that, but I feel like because of the nature of the Big 12, I feel like the ball can bounce our way, and we don't necessarily have to worry too much about depth, because the ball bounces a few ways in our way, and we win the game. It's not necessarily going to tell the story about depth. You understand what I'm saying? It's like if we get lucky in few things and things go this way or that way, you're not really going to be able to pinpoint what you thought it was, because truth be told, our depth is not as much as most of these teams. But what happens if we win? Then what do you attribute it to? So I don't know if I can put too much on depth. Not this year. I can't put too much on depth. I would say, let's roll the ball down the road on that talk. When we start doing well in the 12th team, we get into the 12th team, and then we get dominated, right? And then somebody smack the crap out of our nose, and then the next time we come back and we try again, that's when we can start having a depth conversation. But not in the Big 12. I don't know.
But listen to what I'm saying, because I see, from that and in the comments, I never said a statement of fact. I just asked that question. I said, consider you are saying, or let's say there's a comparable, and I'm not saying you're exactly at Texas, but you're at least Oklahoma, or somewhere in there. So I'm saying to a point of when you, and if
did you say Texas Tech, or did you say Texas?
No,
you said Texas.
Right.
Well, why are you saying Texas? Because Texas is not here no more.
But what I'm saying is that when you look at this,
I was a little confused when you said that.
Look at the Big 12 conference. All right, these teams were, most of them, other than Utah and Arizona, they were in the Big 12 last year. So Texas and Oklahoma were in the Big 12 last year. So
both of those teams that you're talking about are no longer. Those are SEC team now.
Can I get my pushback?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hold on, DC. Let Phil get in here because I was gonna rip you another one a different way, but I got confused because the light is too hot. It's too bright right here. Like my light is like it's too bright because I was about to rip you a shred, but I got confused. And I can still rip you a straight after Phil go. Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you for clearing that.
So DC, my brother from the South. I say this with love. I think
with
you're
respect.
wrong.
With respect of your military service.
Hold on, just real quick. Hold on, before you go. Hold on. One question I gotta ask. What exactly are you disagreeing with? Because I never made a statement of fact.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Don't down. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You better get this work. Just get your work and eat your work. Okay, just get cooked and take it like a military man. Go ahead, Phil. Please rip him.
So I don't necessarily have an issue with what you said, but I personally don't like the way it's framed, and the reason why I say that is a couple of things. This Big 12 conference, this year's Big 12 is not last year's Big 12, right? So it's obviously going to look a lot different, and we all know that all 10-2 records are not made equal, right? So just because Colorado, just because Colorado is to go 10-2 this year, that doesn't mean they're as good as Texas, because we can have a situation where Colorado goes 10-2, Georgia goes 10-2, let's say Liberty goes 10-2, and then
people start saying, "Oh my gosh, Colorado's just like Georgia."
Right, exactly. And then let's say Florida State goes 10-2. Those 10-2 rankings are not made equal. So I think you just have to be careful when you look at it from that standpoint or try to make that argument, because all records are not made equal, and that's just kind of.
Well, I know that, but think about it. But you're pushing back against a question, not a statement. And so I don't know why we're pushing back against questions, but nevertheless, let's go there with that.
No. But truth be told, DC, you as a constituent of this here, TRP Sports Club lives and stuff, your questions are statements. Let's just put that on the record. You know, stop playing around, okay?
DC, he's right.
Your questions are statements.
No, I'm asking the question because I want to know. Are you saying that? Are you saying? I'm asking because I want to know. Are we sitting here right now, today, June 28th, and look at records? Are y'all saying? And this is yes or no. Are you saying that Colorado is just as good as Texas and Oklahoma was last year?
So now. So
I'm not saying
the fact that you just made that statement, I didn't know that you were talking about the two teams that left. So I answered the question in regards to kind of aligning with what Phil was saying, that no two records, because Colorado goes 10-2. You can't say, oh my gosh, we got depth now, because like TCU, we can get exposed the next year. We face a slightly tougher schedule, right? So it's not going to necessarily answer that question, but the question that you're asking is unfair. Just like Phil just said, it's unfair because when you say, "Oh, they're just as good," I don't know how you can qualify or even quantify that question. How do you even begin to answer that question? Let me put the question back to you, DC. How do you start?
You can say 8-4.
No. I'm saying
the same way you can say 8-4. It's the same way you can make that determination.
No. But listen, we don't have them on our schedule. So how can you begin to answer the question? How do we even approach the question to be fair to the question?
Watch this. When you have people that are Colorado fans that are saying Colorado has the best wide receiver group, you have people that say Colorado has the best quarterback. You have people that are saying Colorado has the trenches, they're going to dominate. You have how offensive line going to dominate. So you're saying all these things and not realize that they got to add up to something. And I'm not saying that they don't have those things.
So are you talking about playoff implications, or where is it coming from? Or
I'm saying it's that let's just go ahead and rubber meet the road, because I'm asking. I'm not saying anything. If I really want to sit back and put it like this, Terry, would you like to know what hate sounds like?
I mean, I think I kind of know. I'm a
Colorado
fan. I think I kind of know what he sounds like.
I'll give you an example.
It sounds like Jason Whitlock.
If I was a hater, I would say at Bama we play for rings, y'all play for watches.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's not how I feel. Exactly. It's not how I feel. Or I wouldn't be here. So what I'm saying is I'm trying to, like, people are giving records. I'm just trying to see where you think this team stacks up, let's say, against the top 25. We're obviously saying that Colorado is with a 10-2, 8-4 record. We're saying that's a top 25 team, correct?
But DC, if I'm not mistaken, though, when Clack came out with the top 25, and Harry was in his feelings about Nebraska being on there and Colorado not, we went through that list and we agreed that Colorado probably wouldn't beat the top 15 teams. I think we said we went through that list, so we've kind of had the conversation before. But I get your point. Like, okay, so are you saying Colorado's a top 25 team?
Notice this. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all something. Notice this real quick. Now, early in the show, I was giving Colorado props. I was saying that they had to schedule.
But now you're ready for your hate because we're almost done with the show. So now you're about to hate. Like, come on, man. You don't know how to just take your wins and just take them home, bro.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Well, what I'm saying is the minute I asked
hey, DC, this is personal. Do you have a girl?
No.
But okay. Have you seen any, like, trends when you lose them and how you lose them? Like when they're doing good, then all of a sudden you come in here and then boom, you beat DC all over again. Is that what's going on in your love life, man? Like what?
No.
When everything's going good, then you got to spoil it. Is that how you do, man?
Trust me. My DMs are active. They just stay on not read. Let's just go ahead and keep that out there.
Ain't nobody said they weren't active. You can get them, but can you keep them?
Please. Trust indeed. Trust indeed.
All right. I didn't mean to go personal, but I'm like, come on, DC. Like, what are you doing right now?
No. Well, I'm asking, but since I'm saying this, that notice this. You got people that can stand here and say 10 and 12 and don't nobody say nothing. They can say it as a statement of fact. I asked a question, and my motives are big. Oh, you hating? That's you don't understand. That's kind of like, all right, come on now, CU fans. If I can't sit here and say, I'm trying to find a team, a parallel team that you're saying you're just as good at. And I'm using because Oklahoma and Texas were in the Big 12 last year, and they both did well. So I'm trying to say if you're going 10 and 2, which Colorado, I believe Oklahoma did, Texas did even better. Are you saying that your teams are just as good?
Okay, I get your question. You kind of cleaned it up. You said who's the equivalent? That's a good question. Let
me add something to that. I'll make it really, really simple. Okay, you got Michael Jordan. You got LeBron James.
He said make it simple. He's going to Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Listen, I'm real quick with it.
E equals MC squared.
Now listen. Who is the better player? It don't matter who's the better player is because they're in two different eras, two different times. I'm from Michael Jordan era. I think Michael Jordan is the better player. You got kids and people from this era will say LeBron James is. Okay? Two different eras, two different times.
Yeah, but we're talking about less than like Texas just left. We're not talking about like 19. We're not talking about you using AOL with your phone and then people using Wi-Fi. We're talking about...
I knew I wasn't going to win that. I knew I wasn't going to win.
Hey, but look, I get your point.
Go ahead. Clear this up for us, please.
No.
Hey, Stacey, I don't know which comment you want me to read. You got like 3 different comments, so I don't. I don't.
I
Oh,
think
hold
she
on.
was
I think I
reading
see.
the PFF one. She was mentioning something about PFF. We never covered that. Never talked. I have no idea what PFF is. You have to explain it to me. I know.
Pro Football Focus. It's a website. Some people love them. Some people hate them. It really just depends on if they say good things about your team or not.
Well, let me ask this question.
Okay.
Let me ask this
No.
question
Don't
first.
ask no questions yet. Let Phil clear up what you were just saying.
Okay,
No.
go ahead.
I wasn't trying to clear it up. I just wanted to give really his just desserts because I get the argument he's making. It's like sometimes the argument is not always going to be apples to apples. Sometimes it's going to be apples to oranges. But I think in all seriousness though, DC is making a good point. Like if we're saying that Colorado is going to meet a certain mark, even if they were 6-6, who would we then say is a team that they are equivalent to, or who is a team that we feel confident they can beat? Because if and when they go 10-2 this year, they win the conference championship, we're going to have that hard conversation to say, how does CU actually stack up against maybe a 9-3 Ole Miss team, maybe a 9-3 Missouri team, maybe a 9-3 Oregon team? We saw what happened last year. So it's a fair question to ask, because if the assumption is that they're going to make it to that playoff, you have to be ready for every other 11 teams that are going to be in that playoff. So that's a fair question.
Let me make it easier.
But people like Son of Yahweh don't like that. So we don't. I can't talk about stuff like that on my channel because this Son of Yahweh will come after me.
I thought Son of Yahweh and I were cool, but obviously
I'm picking on Son of Yahweh. Like we can't talk about anything that's not favorable to Coach Prime and CU. We got to butter everything up and make sure that the toast has jam and everything that is sweet. It got to stay sweet.
DC is a butter. But
no. When the butter is good, not when the butter's bad.
Okay, gotcha.
Son of Yahweh trying to basically. So Son of Yahweh, I guess what you're trying to say is I'm son of Satan, DC. Instead of Son of Yahweh, JP.
Don't make it spiritual. We're just saying Son of Yahweh has a special edition of the Prime shades and the Prime earbuds. You know what I'm saying?
And guess what? I ain't hating to get that. I guess I want to ask. And I got number love for Son of Yahweh. It's all good. I guess I want to know this. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just want to know this thing, since I can't use because understand this. Oklahoma and Texas just got into the SEC. They were in the Big 12. So I don't understand why some people may feel that I can't use the thing because I can only look at historical data because
earlier, DC, remember earlier y'all just told us that Texas is being projected to be like one of the top teams in the SEC, and it just got there. That's not fair. It's not fair. You can't just go to the SEC 1 year. All of a sudden, you're in the top 2. You're skipping over Alabama. You're skipping over. How many schools are you skipping over that was in the SEC last year?
Well, one of the top teams, and then being the top team.
That question is not fair. Anyways, you know what, DC? Before you finish your statement, I got their schedule on the screen. Okay, so I don't know what you want to do with their schedule. But I got it on the screen if you want to use it. But go ahead with your statement.
All right. So here's what the question. Because I looked at Texas schedule. That's why I can say what I say. I actually look at stuff. I don't just sit back and watch well-off media and make my decisions. But anyway,
was that for Son of Yahweh or was that for somebody else?
That was for whoever wanted it. That's whoever wanted it.
Cakewalk, man.
They do have a cakewalk schedule. Again, I don't just say stuff just to be saying it. I'm saying it because I look at, I can validate that. But my question is this then. Let's just go ahead.
Before you ask your question, hey, Son of Yahweh, in case you didn't know, this is what we do on the show, okay? We're trying to probe you to come on the show, to call in, all right? So if you want to defend yourself, then call into the show. But if you got your Prime shades on tight and you got those earbuds in real, you don't even hear anything else. If it ain't Prime, it ain't right. So call into the show and become a friend. Go ahead, DC.
All right, let me just say this. And you can mark this. It's one thing that I have mad respect for Coach Sanders in Colorado is that y'all protect, you stand no business. You don't let nobody just sit back and talk smack. It's a lot of fan bases that will let people just trash their team. So I have the utmost respect for Colorado and Colorado fans, old and new. And so let's just go ahead and lay that out there. I'm asking the question because I see a lot of people saying things. And if I sit back and say, hey, you don't have the best wide receiver, you don't have the best wide receiver in the Big 12. And then sit back and go, yes, we do, Travis Hunter. I'm like, nope, McMillan. McMillan had 1,400. Travis had around 700. And then still sit back and say, it's still Travis Hunter. It's like, okay, well, then what are we? I'm not trying to have the argument of feeling. I'm just sitting here saying, from the stat standpoint, McMillan, his height, his weight, his size is better than Travis. All right, but I do think that Travis is the best defensive back in the Big 12. All right. So my question now, just trying to find out, is let's just ask it directly. And I'd like to see what the chat has to say. When you rank all of the teams, all the records, all the predictions, because again, if you're saying that Colorado is going to win the Big 12, then you obviously they're going to the playoffs, so they're going to play. And we already see what's projected.
We're not playing nobody in the playoffs, bro. We playing ourselves. So
okay,
I'm still poking that son of Yahweh.
We'll play off. Well, you know what? That's fine. If Colorado wants to play with themselves, go right ahead. You just go right on ahead.
Hey, you're not supposed to use that against me. Hey, calm down. Oh man, if Colorado wants to play with themselves, come on, bro.
Yourself, I'm like, all right. Well, if you're playing yourself, see, if y'all,
that was an alley-oop.
Words mean
all right, that was an alley-oop. Hey, what would you say? Because son of Yahweh said he steams up a room, so I'm sure you got something for that.
Who steams up a room?
Son of Yahweh says. Son of Yahweh said he steams up a room. So, what you got for that?
He steams up the room, you know.
I'm gonna start saying, hey, lay out the chili at lunch. That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say to that.
Yo. Oh my gosh, yo.
All right, so
hey, let me just make this announcement in case people don't know. We've already gone over the data for the show. This is the after show. This is where we kind of cut up and we go into different things. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So my thing is, yeah.
Oh, man.
My thing I want to ask is just from you guys in the chat. So at the end of the season, because you can't just say, truth be honest, you can't just say 10-2 winning the Big 12 championship. At the end of the year, what does Colorado win the national championship? And what is their and if they don't, with all the predictions you have, what do you think they are ranked at the end of the year? Final thing. Oh no, well, really?
We're 9-4. We're 9-4. I'm sticking with 8-4. And remember, my 8-4 is I feel like we're gonna lose to one of the lesser teams. I just feel like somebody's gonna have a good day, and from there we're gonna learn our lesson. But I feel like we're gonna be 8-4 for the season, and then 9-4 for the end of the season.
Well, I want to know what. Go ahead.
I don't think Colorado wins the bowl game that they're going to, because I do have them going to a bowl game. I think you're going to have a lot of guys opt out, and then you'll also have guys that are go ahead and jump in the transfer portal. And the reason why I say that, and the transfer portal more so than opting out, is just because of the logistics of the way college football is set up right now. We really need to get a lock on when they do this transfer portal and how they have everything set up, because more guys are going to be concerned about getting from their old team for this year to their new team for next year. So I think that could be a concern to look out for, not just Colorado, but every team that's not in that 12-team playoff. Because if you're talking about it's a pointless bowl game now, it's going to be even more pointless when you got 12 teams that make it into the playoffs and everybody else just sitting back at home watching.
So then let me ask the person
we're winning that bowl game. No, nobody's going to sit out.
Right. So let me ask the person who'd be licking ice cream on the sugar cone watching Colorado. Willie, what do you think?
Can you hear me?
Wow.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, he said you got a bad teeth. He got a sweet tooth. You're putting ice cream. You're putting sugar on ice cream.
I like you, DC. I made the statement that it was only an opinion, a statement. Well, what if, just like everybody was giving their, scenario. Well, what if it was 10-2? What if we went 10-2 with a Pac-10 championship? I mean,
Well, you went back in time. If you go back you would only do that if you went back in time. You got a time machine, Willie? Because they're not in the Pac-12 no more. They in the Big 12.
That's what I'm saying. The Big 12. That's what I'm saying. Help me.
Listen, with the speculations, let Phil kind of give us a little bit of synopsis of what we're looking at, because we gotta end the show. So Phil, what are we looking at, Phil?
Yeah, so these are just the Vegas odds for winning the national championship this year. It's very simple. They rank it from top to bottom, so a lot of the money or the odds is going towards Georgia, then Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, LSU, surprisingly, and then Alabama, Ole Miss, and Michigan to round it out.
Hey, do me a favor, because I'm new to this. So tell me how to read this stuff. How do we read this? All of the new people that don't understand how Vegas works. How does this odds things work?
DC is the gambler.
So DC, you sinner. Hey, sinner DC, can you please go into your sinful world and break this down for us?
He knows when to hold them and when to fold them.
Yeah, can you tell us how you sinners do this?
I just don't know exactly how to explain the way the odds work, but whenever it's a
don't worry, DC got it. Don't worry. If he's still here, he's a gambler. Him and God have a conversation after he's done. But go ahead, DC, if you're still here.
Well, it's like this. If you were to place a $100 bet on Georgia, you would win $330.
Ooh, I like
that.
Okay. So look at Harry. Harry, I don't gamble on games, but trust me.
I'm not saying I'm about to go do it. I'm listening to you guys. I'm listening to you. Go ahead. Let the people know, because there's some new people here, because obviously, you know what? The reason why I'm saying let's break this down is because this is like a football conversation that happens, right?
Right. So for example, you see like Tennessee, if you put 100 down, you're gonna win. What do you think you win there? You're gonna win 3,500. And USC. So that's why like people are betting. Like when people say Colorado is the most bet on team, and it's because and just side note, telling y'all wait, I'm just having fun with folks. It's not.
So hold on, DC. So DC, this is all based on $100 bets.
Yes.
It's the easiest way to break it down as far as like the math.
Oh, yes. Okay. So you put 100 down, you win. If you say USC was going to win it, you put 100 down and they win it, you get $4,000.
Right. See. So that's why you see Colorado is the most bet on, because I think their odds of winning. Let's see, odds of Colorado winning the Big 12. Let's see what that is. It is the odds of Colorado is 100,000. So you bet 100 to win 100,000. That's why people.
Wow. That's why people were going crazy with the Colorado bet.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, this is starting to make sense to me now. Okay.
Harris
all right.
Taking notes, baby. Harris taking notes.
Right.
I'm learning. No, I told you guys. I'm not shy to say what I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is college football. There's a whole nother thing about knowing football, and then there's a whole nother thing about knowing the business of football. You feel me? I think people try to blur the lines. You see what I'm saying? Because when you say, "Oh, I don't know what this means" and stuff like that, they think you're supposed to know if you know football. But this is the business side of college football. So.
Hey, Harry, I'm tempted to make a couple of bets now here after talking to DC, man.
Hey, man, you better pray on that. Don't lose your money. You better pray on that. But go ahead, DC. I want you to finish the explanation.
Right. So that's why you see like their odds of winning the that was the Pac-12 last year. I'm sorry, but let's see the odds of winning the championship. Let's go and take a look at those odds. So for the college championship,
I'm sorry. Can I jump in really quick?
Yeah.
So I personally placed a $15 wager on Colorado winning the Big 12 championship at 3,300 to 1 odds. So a $15 wager will get me $495 if Colorado wins the Big 12 championship this year. So if anybody wants to just think about the $15 that I put on there. If y'all really want to spend some money or waste some money, y'all can put some money on Colorado to win the conference championship and get a good
So
little
let me
return on
just
investment.
make this statement for the TLP Sports Club YouTube channel. I am not giving nobody no betting, no official betting bets, anything like that. All right. This is just for entertainment purposes only. All right.
There
If
you
you
go.
lose any money on betting, this is not a platform to give you any type of wage, to give you any type of information that's going to win you any money. All of this conversation we're having is just for entertainment purposes only. All right.
So,
education. That's it.
Right. So, for example, odds of Colorado winning the
Oh,
national
did I say in
championship.
education? Sorry, not for education, just for entertainment only.
Yeah, you
emphatically.
go.
And if you're struggling with the gambling addiction, all jokes aside, you can call 1-800. No,
Willie, do not laugh. I want Phil to say that again. Willie, please stop laughing. Willie, this is not a funny thing. I need you to please say that again, Phil. And Willie, don't laugh.
Okay.
And if there's anybody out there that's struggling with a gambling addiction, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER. That is the phone number for the National Problem Gambling Helpline. Okay, just want to put that out there.
Yes, if you please don't lose your don't go losing your mortgage money,
right,
thinking that Colorado's about to take. Thinking that all the conversation that we're having, that
but guess what? No, guess what?
Do not be in the chat. Hold on, I gotta get this out. Do not be listening to what's his name, Son of Yahweh in the chat. All right, Scoop Brooklyn in the chat. Us going 12-0 and go bet your mortgage and go lose your house. Okay, do not do that. This is not. Please make sure. All right, we're having fun with this. This is not no. All right.
Hey,
no matter what they say, okay.
East Coast Kev said that he put some money down on CU. So at the very least, I can respect him for putting his money where his mouth is. I'm not saying that you should gamble, but if you believe that boldly in it, then like put some down on it. You know what I mean?
Well, Phil, I don't listen to East Coast Kev. Now that East Clown Kev. That dude don't see
Hey, listen, guys, listen. If y'all are done, listen, man. The shorter my time is on these lives, the more people watch it. Okay, more people rewatch it. So I can't go forever. All right, so we're gonna have to. We got to find a sweet point. But I think Phil wanted to talk about. Phil said something about a dream matchup. You want to tell us what that is, Phil? So we can. That'll be our last discussion.
Yeah, I just wanted to see for people in the chat and everybody on the panel, like, who is a team that you would want to see how Colorado stacks up against? Like, who was a dream matchup for Colorado?
Are you talking about for the Big 12 or for the finals?
No, not just a regular season game. It don't have to be the playoffs. Just who do you want to see Colorado play against, just to see how they stack up against them?
Oh, that's a good question. Before we go to that last conversation, are we done with this this information right here, the odds to win? Are we done with this?
Let me just go ahead and tell you real quick. Colorado has a 20,000 odds to win, so that would mean $100 bet gives you 20,000.
Oh, so it's not 100,000? What did you say earlier?
That was a mistake. That was from last year. So them odds was crazy last year. That's why people were betting on them. But anyway. Yeah, I don't bet, folks. My dad used to, so I learned a lot about football when you put money on the line. I don't. In my state, they don't allow it. I can't tell you where to go, but I definitely would say.
And plus, I don't promote gambling on my channel because I got a responsibility to God. I can't. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of good channels out there for CU that will tell you. You know how the players are doing well and how many players we're getting, and then to put your money up. But I don't do that. So, all right. So I'm taking this off the screen. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So now in the chat, I guess we'll start. Phil, do you want to start the conversation, or you want me to throw the tennis? Let me throw the tennis first, since you asked the question. We'll have you go last. Tennis. What would be your dream matchup for CU this year, 2024?
Alabama.
Oh wow. Jeez, okay.
Alabama.
Oh, so Phil, were you saying any team, no matter what?
Yeah, any team.
Oh, Alabama. Give us a little bit of meat on that bone, man. Pause. But why Alabama? Because of these two goons we got on this panel?
Well, no, because of Alabama has always been the best.
Not even Georgia of late.
Georgia's Johnny come lately, but Alabama is more tradition than Georgia. Well, I take that back. They're in the South, so they all have tradition. But you say asking for a dream matchup, win, lose, or draw. I'll go with Colorado and Alabama. That should be a pretty interesting match for at least the first quarter.
So for the first quarter,
you know what?
after that first quarter, then we disappear.
Really, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I think DC being a Bama fan can back me up on this. The secondary for Alabama is not as proven as they have been in the past, so that is, in my opinion, going to be their weakness. They have some really good transfers that came in, but we haven't seen them play together. They do have Malachi Moore, who's probably going to be a top 5 safety in the nation this year. But I think where Colorado is going to have an issue is that Alabama's defensive line is going to be a top 10, top 15 defensive line in the country this year. I don't think Colorado is going to have a top 10, top 15 offensive line in the country this year. But as far as Colorado's firepower on the outside, I think that would be interesting to see. And same for the reverse. I would like to see how Alabama's wide receivers matches up against Colorado's secondary, because I think Colorado's secondary has improved a lot from last year. But as far as the trenches with Alabama, I think that is where Alabama would kind of beat Colorado to death. They would probably just run the ball.
So what's the score prediction based on tennis's information?
So I don't know how DeBoer does things, because I know Saban, like, he tries not to just embarrass people. So it could very well be a 35-17 game, but it could have easily been 52-10 if you wanted to. So I would say a 35-21 game.
Willie, how do you have it?
35-17.
Willie, how do you have it?
We're looking at, we got Shador there, we got Travis there, we got good receivers. I am going to say they'll score about 28 points. They should score 28 points. Probably a lot of them may come late. 28, maybe 35. 28-35.
Who's winning? Who you got winning?
I'll give it to Alabama.
Okay, so 28-35. Okay. All right. So DC, what's your dream matchup for CU?
Oh, well, all the people that get in the chat and like to talk.
Oh, leave the chat alone. Just give us your dream matchup, bro.
And on other stuff, I would love to see Alabama and Colorado. Oh, Jesus, I would love to see it, because here's the thing: the only way that so let's just call it out for what it is. Everybody in the SEC knew what was gonna happen to TCU, and folks ignored it. That's what I would see exactly what's happening. I would basically say is you would have Oregon times 2 that will wind up having to Colorado. I'm just telling y'all. I'm gonna tell you why. Because
wait, hold on. Based on the information from last year, or are you talking about based on the information the team this year?
Oh,
because I think you're sadly mistaken.
Oh no, I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about this year. Let me tell you why.
All right,
y'all got to look at this. When you have trenches that are big, fast, and tall that can get their hands up and knock balls down, that will neutralize Shador. I'm just telling y'all.
Okay.
So I would be looking at somewhere around a 48-21 game. I was joking about the Oregon being times 2, but I do think it will be a 48-21 game, mainly because of that line. I got that Colorado has a good line, but folks, I ain't trying to crap on Colorado at all.
DC, let it go, DC.
Let it go, DC. You know, you said enough, brother. Let it go. Before you crap on us now. Let it go.
He's about to lose his girl again.
All I'll say is you got to go listen to what Coach Prime even said about Bama. Your own coach, the stuff he said. Coach Prime said it's folks on teams like that are big, fast, and will just basically they got to bring the cart out. Have y'all noticed that? Like, when you notice when Colorado plays, you don't see the card as much. When you see Bama or Georgia, the card comes out. The card. Not people run out there and throw Gatorade in your mouth. They bring the card out. Oh no, we need to take this dude somewhere. We can't help him on this field. Those are those types, and I'm not meaning no disrespect. It's just that's a different ball game.
Hey, let's get Wild Dog's prediction. His dream matchup would be CU versus Georgia in the. Is that supposed to be Falcons Mercedes Stadium?
It's the Mercedes-Benz Dome, but yeah.
Okay, so all right, so Wild Dog, let us know what you have the score as, and who's winning that matchup. And hey, and DC Wild Dog got you down pretty much. Every time you say, I mean, no disrespect, here comes the disrespect. Okay, like so. All right, Phil. So who's your dream matchup?
I would actually say either a Florida State or a Ole Miss. And the reason why I say one of those two teams is because, and this honestly is not disrespect, I think those two teams are what CU is trying to be, from the standpoint those teams have been able to build, let me not build, but they've been able to add some very critical pieces to their team through the transfer portal. So the way Florida State is using the transfer portal, the way Ole Miss is using the transfer portal to put kind of the icing on the cake on the team, I think that's what Deion Sanders wants to do with Colorado. I don't think he wants to build his team directly through the transfer portal. So I think he wants to mimic his team to be kind of like those two teams. And I think those are teams that will challenge Colorado on the offensive line, will challenge their receivers, challenge Colorado's receivers, and I think their receivers will challenge Colorado's DBs. And I just think it will be a fun matchup altogether. I think it'll be a lot of passing. I think it'll be an exciting game, but I think it'll be a matchup to say, all right, cool. If you really step up against these guys and put up a fight, then Colorado, y'all might be who we think y'all are, or who some think y'all are.
But can I say, hold on real quick? It is two other matchups I'd love to see. And one is I'd love to see Colorado play Oregon again. And I would love to see Colorado play San Diego State. So y'all get your lick back with Sean Lewis. Those are two.
That would be a good match.
That's a good one, DC.
That is a good one. I want to see. Yeah, I want to see that. But here's mine, and I'll tell you why this is mine. I like the fact that Texas says Alabama, but not Alabama. I'm thinking Georgia. The reason why is because Georgia is currently the team that my dogs. The first thing everybody keeps comparing us to, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, the SEC is this, the SEC is that. So I feel like we are never going to get any respect from any college football conversation until Colorado actually plays and goes head to head with a team the likes of a Georgia, right? And actually not just do good, but beat that team before Colorado can just be in the conversation.
That's going to be a benchmark for sure. That's a very good point.
Definitely.
So that's mine. You're right. That's my dream matchup, is to finally just get a Georgia or an Alabama or one of these big top teams, and then Colorado goes in there and really make it happen. Right? Then that I just want that to just happen. I wish college football wasn't like regional and conference based, but we will get our opportunity if we go to that 12-team playoff. Exactly. And man, I'm telling you, when I be planning these shows, I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, oh man, just God, can you make this happen one day? Let Colorado meet a Georgia in the finals, and Colorado make it happen. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be for the ages, man.
Hey, Harry, but guess what though? In 2028, Colorado will go to Florida at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on September the 9th in 2028. If Deion is still there, that game is going to be nuts. That is going to be the first time, at the very least.
The Gators, you say?
The Florida Gators in 2028.
Oh, man.
They play in Florida at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on September the 9th. That is going to be a awesome environment. Being here at
But
Griffin Stadium is
it only depends on what condition Florida is in at that point. That's
true. That's true.
Right.
Too. That's true.
That's why I want a Georgia or an Alabama. So I'm glad Tennis said Alabama. We dealt with Alabama. Now I want Georgia. Like I don't care about anything else because and the feeling around this is that it's not even football. It feels like it's going to be like reminiscence of TCU versus Georgia. And I'm under the impression that, man, I wish Shador, our quarterback, could be still around, and when let's just have like a simulation game or a scrimmage or something, and Colorado shows up and let these guys know that football is football.
Well, guess what? Guess what, Aaron?
I would sit back and just be like, I told y'all.
We got EA College Football 25. You know, we can just do a simulation, sit back and watch it. Hey, just what I'm saying, buy it for your kids, and you can just live stream the game, let the computer play against each other. We can just sit back and eat popcorn and talk about the game.
Well, you know what's going to happen.
You know what? They could be a members only stream.
But you know what's going to happen because of legacy, right? Not because of the data that we deal with here every day every time we stream. Not because of that. No, they're going to whoop us. They're going to mildly whoop us in that game. It ain't going to be no fun. But I want to see what happens in real life if Colorado just gets an opportunity to just go against one of these teams. And I'm telling you, man, you're going to see that that's why, you know what? That's why I keep pressing y'all. And I keep asking y'all, I'm like, what is your best team? And y'all are kind of like, yeah, it could be Utah. Oh, maybe Kansas. It's too many. I feel like the conversation is going to change. And until we play Georgia or Alabama, the conversation is never going to change. So that's just how I feel.
It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow, but it's going to happen, baby.
It's going to happen. And boy, let it not be this year when Colorado meets Georgia in the finals. Oh, my God. If we catch Georgia in the finals, bruh, wherever that's happening, I'm going there.
But it's in Atlanta this year.
I will be in Atlanta and I'm sleeping at your house, bro. I'm there, bro. I'm telling you, I'm streaming at your house. Okay, we're gonna be in your basement somewhere, or we're gonna be in somewhere outside. We're gonna be dude. Oh, talk about dream.
I don't want to see that happen because that means Bama's not in the national championship. But I'll just say this: that will probably be the most televised college football game at the very least in the past 20 years, maybe even 30 years.
Bro,
Deion coming back to Atlanta is already
the narrative, the stories that's gonna be told in his second year.
And remember, Deion is 0-2 at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium because he lost 2 straight Celebration Bowls. So he got some unfinished business in Atlanta. So that would as much as I don't think it would happen, I still would indulge the conversation.
Bro, but goes to the Natty on a Monday night and faces a Georgia. Oh man. Yo, that would be for the ages. That would be like, here we go. All your detractors, all of your butters, everything. Oh, Georgia's this. Oh, SEC this. We finally get to meet one of those guys, and then we beat them. Oh my goodness,
so now we basically
everything down.
So now we basically then turned to a Colorado OnlyFans channel. That's what we're doing right now. we in the fantasy.
That's where we were headed. That's where we were headed.
DC does. You see what DC does? When we're not talking about fantasy matchups.
And DC, don't you dare wake me up.
I know, right? Thank you, Willie.
Willie, we already know how you do it. Willie, you remember them old football games where you put it on the players and then you turn it on and then it'll vibrate and then you'd have to go. We already know that you got a Colorado game like that.
The player never went where you wanted him to go, never went
But the possibilities for this year with Shador still being on the team, the possibilities are there. You feel me? there is a very slim chance that Coach Prime is standing on that stage on a Monday night. You understand what I'm saying? Sometime in January with Georgia, the Georgia. Oh my gosh. If that ever happens, boy, that'll be something else. All right, guys, I got to end it there. What is your final thoughts, please? Let's start with tennis. Tennis, what is your final thoughts on Kansas versus Colorado or the Big 12 and our path to the Big 12 championships?
I think we're gonna do well. We're gonna be ready for Kansas. Everybody that we play this year, we will be ready for them. And so I'm excited. I've been watching a lot of film, and not film, but mostly video on the team's attitude, man. Their attitude when they went to that retreat. I look at their attitude when they were at that retreat. Then I come back and I hear other people say things, and I'm moving more towards what I see and hear the player saying versus on what I've heard somebody else that's reading information off of paper, and they're giving their opinion. And it's a lot different when you watch a video like that, see what the guys are talking about, see what they're doing. You have a tendency to say, hey, you know what? I think CU might be on to something this year. So when I say a lot of stuff, brother, that's what my mind is just reflecting back on all of that, that I've seen. I'm not worried about what the commentators say because they've got the written data. But when you have video data there, it gives a whole new, because now you're able to, perceive what you see. And these guys ain't lying. These players ain't lying. When they go to situations like that or in positions like that, they ain't lying. I don't so much trust the other guys, but I trust what my eyes are telling me when I'm watching it on video. And that's my final words.
Man, you saved your final words to make up for everything you didn't say on the show. All right,
you wouldn't let me.
I wouldn't let you. You gotta be part of the conversation.
I ain't gonna jump in there and jump over nobody. No way.
DC, what are your final thoughts, brother?
Well, first, I enjoyed the show. Willie's talking now. Matter of fact, got me wanting some KFC. So if I'm in the drive-through later, and I see a 1984 Buick Regal with tennis on the tag, I'll bump at you, Willie.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The next thing, folks, I just wanted to say this is part of football. It's talk where you talk about good stuff, you talk about this stuff, and then there's trash talk in it. So sometimes it can seem like people are not hating, but some of us who have been around, I guess the legacy, we're used to talking mad trash. You should see some of the chats that I've had with a good friend of mine who's a Penn State fan and a Virginia Tech fan. It's brutal. Great show. I'm looking forward to a good season. I think Colorado will be dramatically improved. So I'm looking forward to see that. And then the last thing is, folks, y'all gotta let folks just talk and have fun with you and not be a hater. Can we do that? Can we just love each other in the see universe?
Not son of Yahweh. Son of Yahweh is gonna hold you to the fire, bro. You gotta talk favorably about Colorado. Not come on here and I'm gonna lose subscribers, bro.
Okay, then I will talk favorably. Colorado has a football team. Thank you.
I'm one of the biggest CU channels that's stumped in growth. All right, everybody else is like leap years, but yeah, I'm one of the biggest ones talked about. So something's going on. Maybe I got to change my ways. Maybe I got to wear some more pom poms. I don't know. All right, Phil. What are your final thoughts, Phil?
As usual, man. Thanks for having me on. I think this year we will see an improved Colorado. I don't know how good they're going to be, but I definitely think they're going to be improved. I'm excited about the season, and I'll give y'all some advice that my therapist gave me last week in therapy. She was like, she said, lean into your greatness, man. Sometimes we have imposter syndrome, and we want to act like we ain't that dude, or we ain't that gal, or we ain't that whatever. Lean into your greatness, okay? Be humble, but lean into your greatness.
I like that. Thank you.
So, with that being said, that would be part of my final thoughts is the fact that we also have to understand when Phil says leaning to your greatness, there's nobody that does it better or understands that phrase better than Coach Prime. I think often we think that the way that we think is how he thinks. And that's why it's kind of tough for us to really understand where he thinks he's going to take his team. So if he's going to lean into his greatness, if Coach Prime leans into his greatness, that means he's believing for a lot more than we're believing, than we can believe. And the belief is not necessarily up to us to believe. It's up to Coach Prime for his team. Now, he's just asking us to just believe in him and his ability to believe. So it's not necessarily we as the fans to actually believe for, when we're talking about the direct line from the universe or God or whoever you put in that space, the universe and God, that's for him. What he's asking us as fans is to just say, hey, man, if you are a fan of mine, just believe me. Just believe in what I'm believing for that, because he's the connection to the universe for his team. It's not for us. So just believe what he says. He believing for bigger things. And I think if we believe him as much as we know that he leans into his greatness, nobody does it better. You can name any coach on the face of the earth. You can name any player, former player on the face of the earth. There's nobody that we can say, and there's probably going to be a consensus, just like we did earlier, and we said there was a consensus on winning Kansas beating certain teams. I'm sure there's a consensus on this channel or on the panel that we can say we don't know that we can find any one coach that believes or that can lean into their greatness more than Coach Prime. And for that reason, I say if he leans into his greatness and if the universe works the way that we think the universe works, there ain't nothing that Coach Prime ain't going to be able to conquer. So I believe him. That's why.
I agree.
All right.
I vote you.
All right, guys. With that being said, man, look, I appreciate you, Phil. I appreciate you, Tennis. I appreciate you, DC. Wild Dog, who's usually here. He's not been able to come on. He's been in the chat helping us out. KMS, what's up? Stacy, appreciate you holding down the show. Son of Yahweh. I had to dig into you a little bit today because you were trolling me a little bit, but it's all good. I appreciate your support on the channel and everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate all of you guys. I will see you guys on Monday Night Football at 7 p.m. on the East Coast, all the way from South Africa to Australia to New York City, Georgia, and everywhere in between. Thank you for watching TLP Sports Club and supporting the channel. All right, guys. Peace out. Have a great weekend. And try to barbecue if you can. I'm out.
Be blessed.
All right. Be blessed, everybody.
Peace out.
Yes, sir.